What's going on? How y'all doing? Let me go ahead and introduce the crew that we got right now. One Country, Cookie, Shan Monet, Straight Like That, Hink, Willie, me, myself, on Lapeef JR. Welcome to Lapeef Sunday. What's going on, Johnny? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, JR?
What's going on, good people?
Doing wonderful.
How's everybody doing?
What's going on, True? How you doing? Man. Shane, you got a glow going on? Where you going? Are you dressed up or something?
Who?
Shane.
I'm not going anywhere. This is how I look.
Oh, okay. I woke up like that, huh? Okay. Sure you did. You look nice. You look nice.
Thank
you.
you.
Look nice in your, what is that? I know that's some type of design that you got on. What is that?
It's a regular t-shirt.
No, I'm talking about Cookie.
Oh, this is Rihanna. This is Savage X Fenty.
Rihanna Savage.
I love Rihanna's stuff. It's just all good.
About to step my game up, man. Y'all be out here too fancy for me, man. What's going on, Dale Matthew? How you doing? Got Flavor One is in the house. As you guys come in, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are catching this on the replay, make sure you subscribe as well. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man, without sports.
Yo.
Seems like I got a lot more time on my hands now. I don't have anything to look forward to when it comes to sports. Was it baseball season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's baseball season.
Right.
And they're showing some professional track meets on. Track is trying to get back spicy again like it was in the 90s.
Kind of get back. I didn't know track was spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Except when it was time for the Olympics. But other than that, I ain't seen too many people watching. I see Jake Paul had a fight last night nobody knew about.
That part.
Good.
Yeah.
And then he bought a plantation in Georgia. Like what?
Yeah. Somebody asked the question, like, why do they call it plantations? But in the comments, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can bring me up to speed. But plantations have always been around. I guess it was highlighted in Georgia. That's a big thing.
Yeah. That piece of property belonged to a family. That family sold the property as is. So that property used to be used for some sort of plantation. That's why they call it a plantation.
Okay. So people need to get out their feelings, huh?
I think so. I mean, it's a plantation. That's what it was in the past. That's what it is now.
For cropping. It was used for cropping, which is associated with slavery.
Just say it. While y'all being around the bush, just say it.
Okay, so
But I think he wants to homestead it or whatever, and I don't think he's trying to grow crops. I think he wants to hunt and like put some other stuff on it he claims. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, if we see some slaves, I don't know if you're in the Atlanta area. If we see some slaves, please let us know.
I don't know. This Haitian's getting desperate right now, so.
Another day. Another chance to be amazing.
Okay. I see you optimistic. That's a good way to look at it, man.
Shit, look at life, baby. I'm always optimistic.
Yeah. Like, sometimes people be saying things, but then behind closed doors, they be like saying the F word like crazy throughout the day.
Oh, that's my favorite word. But
I was about to say that's my favorite.
That's my favorite word, but I'm like fucking right. Let's fucking go.
But you know what? I don't know if it makes me weird, but because all this stuff is going on, I found myself more at peace because I'm not really like I'm giving out like y'all finally figure y'all get one little inkling of oppression and y'all are like losing your shit,
Mm-hmm.
And I just I predicted all this stuff, but nobody listened to me before the election. So I mean, we are where we are. We could just keep line dancing until it's our turn to get sent back to somewhere we're not from, I guess. That was sarcasm.
Very funny. Very funny.
I told everybody that.
Wait. What was your prediction?
My prediction was if the person that is in charge right now was elected, that the judicial system, the legislative system was going to give up their power to him. And it's unfolding exactly how I said it would.
Hmm.
It's like to the T. There's a show, I'm pretty sure it's on Mr. Let Go's channel, where I said, keep watching, and then some unconstitutional stuff gonna start happening, and y'all gonna be like, whoa, maybe this wasn't the right choice. Not y'all. I don't know. I don't ask people that. But there's a lot of black people out here still in denial. They in that cult. And I'm like, bro, they moving in on the darker brown people down there. Who you think next? They gonna find a reason. We safe until we not, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time you wear that hat straight like that, man, I'm starting to think of being out in the wilderness, man. What's that?
Oh,
Inspiration behind it? Just your thing. You just like to wear. Too many
no,
people.
well, yeah.
Unless they
If
are.
you're out in Florida, the sun. So I just moved to Florida. I've been here for 2 years. So I used to be a bucket hat, regular snapback, but the sun is crazy. So catch yourself slipping outside. You don't got no sun, to protect yourself. Your eyes, sunglasses. So I just kind of got into it because of the weather. The sun is crazy out here.
You look
I
like
thought about your hat while I was looking at fossils at the museum the other day.
you look like that's one of them hats them niggas on that Jake Paul plantation probably gonna want to have.
Oh no.
Nah, the slave owners, they didn't wear these types of hats. Like they wore something else.
Well, yeah, but that was also 400 years ago. If they were in 2025, I'm pretty sure they probably would have invented.
They were just made out of straw, but they were very similar. He's right.
Not much difference.
Not really.
They were like status. So you probably would have been on a horse.
I mean, I've been to the African American History Museum in Tom Ten, and I think the hats look a lot like that. But I wasn't. So I wouldn't know for sure. But
okay.
My bad, straight like that. I didn't mean to.
No, it's all good. They're just jealous. Cookie always got something to say about dinosaurs. Like
I said, Jurassic Park. Are we lying?
Coming out.
I got one in the closet that looked just like that, though. I'm a coach, so
listen. That's the second time. That's the second time since I've been here.
It's all love. I have the same hat in gray.
So I'm just keeping score because I'm I'm keeping score.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Hey,
it's getting real.
Yeah, it comes out next Friday. It comes out next Friday. Yeah.
I can't
wait.
Like
they're gonna have his hat on.
I'm a Jurassic Park fan, though. That's what I'm saying.
And I have my hair.
Yeah, well, yeah, you need to put the hat back on.
See, now that was an insult.
And I still got my hair. You understand?
And well, you need to cover that head up, man.
No,
I'm good.
Sounds like it might have been a shot at me straight like that.
Nah, bro.
Nah. Damn, I kind of felt that one, brother.
Hey, listen, we all getting shots. Everybody's getting shots over here. Everybody got their ammunition ready today.
So you saying opportunity for me, and you just came for me. Okay.
Hey, it was a stray bullet. It was a stray bullet.
Just like hitting out a holler straight. Okay. Anyhow, man, it's good to see you guys. Naomi, how you doing? Thank you for blessing the platform. Glad to see you here. Well, you got a permanent smile, I see, huh?
Sometimes.
Okay, nothing wrong
Sunday.
with that. All right. We're going to go ahead and get this show started, man. Excellent show for you guys. Relationships are easy. We're the ones who ruin them. I always say that relationships are not complicated. We just overcomplicate them. So I got some videos that I'm going to play. We're going to go ahead and react to it. I do like this brother's content where he gives us like a little small movie snippet of some of the things we discuss. So I think it'll be very interesting. I played one of his videos before. Everybody seemed to like it, so I'm looking forward to it. So that's what we're going to roll with today, all right?
Okie dokie.
All right. Again, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and get this show started. Here we go.
I really want to be with you, but I'm not ready for you.
What do you mean you're not ready for me?
I'm still in the process of getting my life together, and I would love to shoot my shot and be with you, but I'm just not ready for you.
So you're not financially ready?
No, I'm not.
I don't really understand y'all. Like, why do you feel like you have to have money to be in a relationship?
Y'all are expensive. I don't think y'all understand that. Everything that we do by ourselves, we gotta times that by 2 if we get into a relationship.
But I'm simple. I don't ask for a lot.
You see, you say that now, but I'm gonna be broke by the 3rd month. We have to make sure we get our lives together before we get with anybody. Don't y'all want that?
Yeah, but y'all really be exaggerating the whole I gotta get my life together thing.
But y'all also gonna get mad and talk shit about us if we come to y'all with nothing going for ourselves.
That's different.
It's not.
So you just expect me to still be here by the time you get yourself together?
Well, things are aligned the way it's supposed to be, then yeah.
Y'all got way too much confidence in that.
Y'all want to make us confident, right? I win.
So what are you gonna do in the meantime? Just grind and hope that I don't move on?
Yeah. I'm working myself and make sure I don't approach you with a half-assed version of myself.
Aren't you afraid that I'm gonna meet somebody else?
Well, that goes back to my last statement. What's in alignment with me will always be mine.
You know, not every woman cares if you got money.
But y'all care if we don't have money. I win again.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like this first one might be an easy question, but maybe somebody else might think differently. Maybe one of the women do, but should a man wait to date until his money is right? Should a man wait until his money? Should wait to date until his money is right? The thing is that some people say it's okay for people to build together, while some folks think that men should have their money together. But how do you guys feel? Should a man wait to date until his money is right? Anybody can go first, unless I pick on somebody.
I mean,
Look, I don't think a young man should have to wait. I mean, because look, let's be honest. These college age kids are young adults. They not gonna have no money. They gonna come out the block no money. Even if their parents got money, they ain't got money. No, they praying they getting a stipend from the parents or maybe from their scholarship check just to do anything or have any type of fun or go in the out. So,
You muted yourself, Hank.
a man who's more seasoned and a little older in age, yeah, you probably want to better entertain certain individuals, and it depends on what type of woman you're going to be dealing with too, right? You dealing with a materialistic type woman, yeah, you better have some bread. Now, if she's not a materialist, you might not have to have as much, but you still need something. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to come bearing no gifts, if you know what I mean. I'll leave it there.
All right, go ahead, Cookie. I know you was gonna say something.
I agree with Hank. I feel like it just depends on what kind of dating you're doing, because like I don't think men before the age of 30 are dating with purpose. I mean, they're just kind of out there. So I don't think that requires money, right? So if they, I mean, can we call it dating, or are they just out here cracking, as my daughter would call it? You know what I'm saying? So I guess if you want to say when they start dating someone seriously to be with them, absolutely. You should have a little foundation, a little nest egg. It don't have to be a lot, but it definitely need to be something to make a woman feel secure, because despite what women say, like he said in the video, that's part of the security we want. It's not just physical all the time. It's like, okay, financially, if I get sick, if he break a leg, will we be able to keep where we live? So I think it's important for both parties, to have some form of life built for themselves. And if the man says, okay, I want you to be at home, then if you love him, stay at home. But he got to have the funds.
All right, go ahead, True, and then we'll go to Shan. We can't hear you, just so you know. No, we can't hear you. Straight silence. Are you on your phone? Okay.
Look
Yeah,
at the
go.
top of your computer. Is something lit up at the top, the first top row, the very, very top on your keyboard?
Just go to your settings, go to audio, and then when it's just pick your input source for your mic. It probably
He
just
was really talking to. I hope you remember what he was gonna say. Cause I'll be like,
Yeah. Okay, got you. Go ahead, Shan. We'll get to True when you come back.
So what was the question again?
Should a man wait to date until his money is right?
It depends on the age. Obviously, I think Hink mentioned if you're early dater, which I promote, if you're like in your mid-20s, obviously you're not going to have a lot of money, but that looks like you working on a plan, right? Maybe you're in an entry level in a job and you see progression, you want a promotion, that looks like maybe you're in school, you're working on something. You're not just broke and there's no plan going on, right? Because I personally believe in helpmeets. And if you have somebody on your team, they can be there to keep you, keep the noise away. I feel like when you're dating a whole lot of people and you have a purpose, dating can become a distraction. It can become noise. And I think that people who get rid of that distraction early on and focus, and they have somebody who can focus with them, they get it right faster than those people who don't. So I do promote early dating, moving forward, connecting. Maybe you don't start a family that early, but have somebody on your team. You guys get married, know that later on you want a family, but right now we're just building. I totally promote that. Now, if you're later, it's later in life. Let's just say you lose your job. That's one thing. She can help you get back on your feet. You have a resume. It shouldn't be hard to bounce back. Now, if you are like in your 40s and you're just now getting it together, because I've met people who are just now getting it together, you need to have a come with Jesus, like a moment with God and figure that out, right? Before you pull somebody else in your mess. Because I do believe people can pull you down. If you're up, it's easier for somebody to pull you down than for you to pull them up. So I do think that that's a totally different situation. But for normal situations where you're working on something, I definitely believe dating is okay. But I think that it should be dating with a purpose, just like your career, and not dating just to be, because that can be a distraction. And that's what things happen. Like, you end up getting somebody pregnant, you may get an STD, things that you're worrying about that can take your mind off of what it is that you're trying to do. And I think that that's not going to work well. So that's just my opinion.
All right. Go ahead, Willie. It's on you. Should a man wait to date until his money is right?
Yeah, because dating costs money. To be the kind of guy that a woman wants to date, you have to have a lot of things that also take money. Like, you have to be a financially sound person to date a woman, especially to be the type of man that women want. So, like, it sounds good. Like when Shan said that, she can help a guy get it together. I think that's retarded. There's no way. I don't think any woman should help a man get anything together in order to date her. That's insane to me. That's not her place. That's not her place at all, to have to help a man become the guy that he wants. She should do that with her son, maybe, but not for a guy that she has a romantic interest in. If trying to date someone, when you're dating, dates cost money. Like a date is $200, dinner, tip, whatever, gas, however you want to look at it, $200. And you're doing that show on a regular basis. So, and then as the more you like someone, you start having these milestones, like the anniversaries. Some women want to care about the first time you kissed. Men care about the first time you smashed. And you want to start celebrating these things like birthdays and all the rest of that stuff. It costs money. And someone who's struggling financially, they won't be able to be present in dating because they're going to have to work 12, 14 hours to keep up. The average person doesn't make a lot of money. So hell no. Hell yeah. You definitely have to have your money together before you start dating anything.
All right. True, you there?
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I don't know what was going on, but we got it rocking. We still on the same topic, same question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and I talk to my lady about this quite often. she was actually offended the first time I told her this, but I don't believe. I think men should always focus on their purpose, but women don't typically date, in my opinion. They participate in dating, and I think the reason why this becomes problematic is because we're still trying to create this environment where women feel super special by getting to know us. I don't think that that's totally wrong, but I think that if you are dating with purpose, kind of to what Cookie was saying, then I think that you would be good as a man to allow her to know what it is to be in a relationship. I think Hink has the principle of one pot. I think that that should be participating when you're getting to know someone. The only reason why women don't typically know why dating is so stressful for men is because they don't really do it. They don't have to plan. They don't have to extend. They don't have to budget. And I think that's our fault, especially in modern time. If you got a woman who got a job or a career and she can substantiate some level of contribution, you should be allowing her to do so. And you guys be working as a team. And that's my opinion.
All right. Go ahead, Naomi.
So I kind of agree with both of a little bit of everybody, what everyone said. I think it depends on, I think I agree more with what True said. I'm just going to add a little bit to it. So it doesn't really matter the age of the man, to be honest. I think that the expectancy of the woman that he's dating is what matters. So if it's somebody who's younger, and she's aware that they're of their age and she's not demanding or she doesn't have like an entitled mindset, then the understanding will be there that obviously between the ages of like 18, 19 up until like 20 something, he's in school. So obviously financially, he's not going to be able to um, pay for a lot of things. Now, if we're talking about somebody who's older, then that is something that we do want to see as women who are older. We want to see a man who's already operating in his purpose, especially if he's dating. There comes with a different level of understanding for that type of man because most men who are dating in their late 30s or 40s are divorced already. So all of that plays a factor in it as well. So we can't get away from the fact that it takes money to date, but it depends on the mindset of the person who they're dating. And if the young woman, if she's younger and she's has more of the participating mindset, then she's not going to value him. And a woman who's older, if she has a participating mindset or she has an entitled mindset because she's already more, let's say she's older, she has a career or has money or whatever, like that independent boss mindset, then she won't value him either. It's really going to depend on the woman and her mindset on the amount of money that that man is actually going to need. It doesn't really matter his age.
Go ahead, straight like that.
Um, I think everybody has good points when it comes to this, but if I was to give my honest opinion on it, I think it's better if a guy is already expecting to have some sort of resources to date. Just me as a man, just how I feel about it. Like I don't feel comfortable not being able to buy flowers or take her somewhere interesting or fun. I don't want her to pay. Um, so I just think mm, um, to the brother in the video, it's up to the guy really because he's the one pursuing the woman. But I know most men don't feel comfortable taking any woman out if they don't got nothing in their pockets, whether or not they're already in their purpose or if they're already in whatever career that they're trying to pursue. I just feel like any man would want to have some money in their pocket or some sort of just some sort of just something to offer while dating. I think that's the approach. When you approach a woman, you're also trying to pitch that you can make her life a little bit more easier. And you're a nice person. Now, if a woman wants to rock with you on the come up, because I do agree with building with someone as well. But I don't think for dating specifically, I think he should come with something. And if he doesn't have anything, I think most men would just kind of lay low until they do build themselves up to date.
Go ahead, Hank. Oh, Cookie, you wanted to respond. Go ahead.
Well, I had two things because I agree with him. Um, First of all, I know it's a skit, but I think women miss the whole patient part. Being patient and respecting that man's boundaries because he was very clear about why he didn't want to get in a relationship, and she kept like harassing him. You know what I'm saying? So read the signs. You know, he made a choice not to date broke. So what are you gonna do? Force him? And second, like when you're dating young, like say for instance, I can't remember who it was. Somebody brought up college. Like when I was in college, we were on scholarship. We all, you know, we found somebody that was athletic because we knew we had some kind of stability in the college. It was weird if an athlete dated a regular student because that did wasn't involved in athletics because they're always working and they're always doing homework and they don't understand and we just go on to practice. So I think you just if you're young in dating, there's gonna be a lot of 50-50 going on. It just depends on what your motives are, you know, while you're dating that person that young. Because I feel like 18 to 22, 24 is rather young to be taking anybody seriously. But I mean, that's why I thought the age thing was good because you do have to think about age, what their value is at the time, and really be very careful about who you with because you might get with a dude that is not on a team and he taking your scholarship money. You know what I'm saying? Like and vice versa. Like why are you paying this girl your check? She don't do nothing for you. So it's a it's overly complicated. I just think you should live
One
within your means.
one thing I want to add to that real quick, because I think she brought up a good point. I think that's why back in the day, women normally were pitched with men that were older. That's just how that goes. Once a man is already old enough to take care of a woman, if you're talking biblical times, if you're just talking just generally speaking, there's a dowry that had to be paid to even have a wife. So most women, once they were able to get to an age where they're able to take care of a home and have children, they weren't dating guys their own age. It wasn't like an 18-year-old or 19-year-old girl would be pitched to an 18 or 19-year-old boy. He was already being in the field trying to get himself to a status to where he can have a wife. So I think, to Cookie's point, also we have to look at the age thing. Most women should be dating a little bit older in terms of the men that they choose, because an older man should be at a certain level. If not, then he was either lazy or went through a difficult time or something like that, to why he's not where he's supposed to be financially to take care of a wife. Because no man is going to give his daughter away to a man that can't take care of it. So I think that age thing is a big factor as well.
If I could
I
add just
still
so
date older men.
if I could add just so what Straight Like That said, I think I brought this up a few weeks ago, JR. Sometimes I think we need to do some research on the relationships because dating is a very new concept. So the dowry system, for example, was not for men to pay for a wife. The dowry system, to my research, was the family who, from the wife's perspective, was actually paying the spouse. Men, when they got married back in the day, the woman had a lot going on already. She either had property, cattle, etc. What I think happens now is because dating is a very new concept, mid-century on, we are doing premarital crap, but not necessarily getting married. And so basically we've created this experiment of trying to get to know a woman, trying to get to know a man through a very like rental type of exchange, but then trying to play marriage and tie it together. And that's never going to work. The it If you're gonna date, I think you need to know what dating looks like one-on-one. I think you guys need to have a lot of conversations. I think that man needs to know what he's willing to offer. That woman needs to know what she's willing to offer, because most people are come from broken homes. Most people have not seen marriage and know how to even facilitate a healthy relationship. And this is the reason why there's a lot of disparity. So I think just to take a historical thing and try to make it modern is very, very difficult in current day. And then I digress.
All right, go ahead. Hold on, y'all. Let me get Naomi in there. Go ahead, Naomi.
I think what I wanted to go along with what he was saying because we got to be honest as well. Like in today's time, he gave True gave the perfect example. There aren't really a lot of fathers in homes that are giving their daughters away in today's time. Not majority. I don't want to say like majority, but it's not something that's more known now. Now it's just kids we're just letting teenagers be teenagers and then keeping our fingers crossed that we can keep our daughter's legs closed and our son's peckers in their pants, and then teaching them how to do it responsibly. That's what, where we're at kind of right now, instead of preparing and teaching them how to date intentionally with a purpose. That mindset isn't something that's familiar anymore unless you're intentional with it. And I'll leave there.
Okay. I think somebody was talking. Was that you, Willie?
Yeah. I think guys just have to stop dating women who want to be impressed by gesture instead of being impressed by the man. That'll solve 90% of these issues. And then it seems like today in dating, a lot of these women are just digital panhandlers. Like they want a man to pay for their time and pay to get to know them. And they assume because the men they want have money, they got the 6 figures, all that shit.
Ladies, that's prostitution.
I don't think that's true though.
Well, I'll let you explain when I'm finished. But Cookie, I understand when you say it's prostitution, this is where I push back there. I don't think it's prostitution. I do think it's panhandling though. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was being funny. I'm the comic relief.
Because listen, I'm all for her body, her choice, but that's prostitution and panhandling. Panhandling can be the prostitution for sure, and you've seen it, right? But if guys, like women think that a guy's supposed to spend, I don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory, all of that bullshit. A lot of these women that have these standards that are based on like what they want as their ideal and not what they've accepted in the past. You can tell a lot about a woman based on the men she's dated prior to. When I look at a woman, I just look at the man she has children by because that's your standard. You've given that man the most awesome thing you could give him, which is continuing his legacy. So if you were letting dudes who work in the back of a warehouse bust inside of you and take you on these $24 dates, don't come to me because I have my shit together thinking that we're going to go, 5-star Michelin restaurant type dates when that's not your standard. That's your idea. And I think that if men understand that women don't date to their standard, they tend to date to their ideals, we would have we'd have a higher vantage point and a little more strategy and leverage in dating.
All right, go ahead, Shannon, then we go.
So as a person who has a son who's in college, right, who has a girl that he is in a relationship with, or you call dating, whatever you want to call it, she doesn't ask much from him. They went to college together. Matter of fact, she does a lot of things for him. I love her. I love her parents. Matter of fact, her parents talk to us all the time. It's a really, I just hope it works. She's awesome. Awesome for him, for me, but of course that's going to be his decision. But mommy, daddy's like, you pushing it. But mommy's like, I see it. She's, because women can see a good person, raised by mom, dad, great, coming from a great household, like, but so I do think that you can date without, my son is entry level. She's okay with that, right? So again, but he's working on something. He has a plan. He's in action. She can see that is entry level for now, but we're moving towards something. So I think that it can work, but you have to be, the problem is intentional. We're not intentional. I think somebody mentioned that before. There's not a lot of intentional dating. And because there's not a lot of intentional dating, women understand that there's not intentional dating. There's more opportunity for that relationship to go to nothing than it is to something. So what has happened is women are like, well, I got to get something out of this deal. Y'all can't, you can't have a relationship. I'm doing all these things for you. You ain't invested nothing. Like, come on. That's like, at least a prostitute make you invest something. She like, give me $40. You up here ain't getting nothing. A cheeseburger, maybe. And by all means, I don't promote it. I think that we really need to go back to, if you're going to date, you need to date with intention. There's a set of people who don't want to date with intention, and those people need to meet each other. The problem is we're dating people who are not on the same path as us. We're dating people who want a relationship, but we don't want a relationship. We got to start having a conversation early so that the people who want relationships can date each other. People who don't want a relationship because you on whatever path you're on are dating each other. And it won't be this craziness that's going on in the market today. It's just crazy. That's just my opinion.
We're going to go to Cookie, and then we got to get Hank in there because he hasn't answered this particular question yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. It'll be quick. So, piggybacking off what Willie said, I think that it's very important that we look at that from the other direction. Not on no competition stuff, but like on real life stuff. Because some of these men out here, not anybody on the panel, but some of these men out here, like, I'm cool. Like, take me to House of Pies. I like pies. I like pecan pie. You know what I
What?
mean? No, I love House of Pies.
I like coffee shops.
It is a coffee shop. It's great. It's amazing. So, but it's like men expect so much, and I think it's because these little harlots done dirtied up the pool, and I'm like, sir, you spent $20 at House of Pies. Like, what are you asking me to do? So that part. They could be glitz, glam, and and even have a little money, and to just be like expecting too much. So I think everybody just needs to be patient and really like seek out like-minded individuals.
I don't think any expectations on that level, whether it be finances or romance, should be expected from anybody you
No.
are not a minimum in a connection or a commitment with. Like,
I'm like, it was
everybody
pecan
just giving it out
pie,
like
bro.
it's goodwill. It's like on clearance. Like, come on.
If
Yeah, it
there's
was
no
pecan pie.
expectation, then you should pay for your own pie
I did.
Sure.
and coffee.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I'm
Especially if you
just
don't like
saying.
them, out of pure
You know
respect
when I
for
did,
you, let me
when
pay
I
for this.
decided I was gonna pay for my own pie, when he started talking real weird, and you know how the man get, and I was just like, check please. Like, he won't get a second date. So, but I'm
But I
like, it's
agree with that,
pie,
Naomi.
bro.
Maybe that's the problem. All these fancy, maybe we should just go Dutch until I figure out if I even want to see you a second time or a third time. Like, at
I don't
least.
mind doing that because I'll leave a date in a second. I'll
Well, I'm
pay for
just
my
saying that,
food
and
and
like,
leave.
respecting him and his pockets. Because, like, if you don't know if you want to keep a life with this man, or even keep him around, or even like his energy, then respect that man in his pockets, and then you respect yourself as well. So I'll pay for mine, and you pay for yours until we see, like, if we can operate in the same atmosphere. I think we spend a lot of time talking on the phone or like online dating. Online dating is a big thing right now. So you can get along with anybody through a phone screen, or pretty much, but it isn't until you actually meet in person to see if you both can operate in your own atmosphere, and that one atmosphere, and then move forward from there,
Right,
and
and
but communicate that though, but
that's in a beautiful
communicate that.
world though, because but these men be plotting just as much as these females. And that's what I be trying to say. You like, no, I got you. But then the got you come with a. That's why I always bring my wallet.
Got you.
Yeah,
Got you come
right,
with a gotcha.
exactly. No, sir, not with no pecan pie and coffee.
It's a lot of free stuff to do. Like, I don't know where you guys are, but in Atlanta, it's a lot of free stuff to do that's just as fun, just as interesting. So,
All right, let's go ahead and get Hink in there, and then let's get Bo on the same question. And then I got another question for the panel. Go ahead, Hink, and then Bo.
Yeah, it was a lot of talking, so I didn't hear the question, JR. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, scroll at the bottom there. Should a man wait to date until his money is right?
Let me say this, man. Fellas, they belong to the streets until you pull them out of the streets. And the only time you pull a woman out of the streets is until you bless her with your last name. They belong to the streets. So you treat them as such. You're not entitled to do anything for any woman if you don't want to. You're not. If I decide to bless you and take your stanky ass out to eat, then so be it. If I decided to buy you a Pandora necklace or a charm or tennis bracelet or whatever I get you, it's a blessing. But I'm not obligated. No man is obligated to do anything for any woman until she has your last name. But these heifers think they entitled to that because you allow them to think that by doing it. Now, if you get used, that's your fault. Shout out to the great Bill Weathers, R.I.P. He said it. He don't mind being used because he's going to use you for the things you do. So if you feel like you're getting a fair exchange when she's giving you some head, then so be it. If she's giving up that cat, then so be it. But dog, you're not obligated to do shit for these heifers. I promise you. They too goddamn selfish to want to do anything on the regular. Because please believe you me, as soon as you hold back or scale back, I don't have it, you're going to hear it. She going to let you know. You ain't shit. You broke, you gay, you got a little dick. She going to let you know all that bullshit. Why? Because she belongs to the streets. And unfortunately, you may have blessed her way too early. Don't wait till after 3 months and think you should marry the heifer. You made a bad investment because you didn't really get to know what you was dealing with. Because why? She feels like she's entitled. I'll leave it there.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, people get offended. Like when he talks, people get offended. People can only speak about people in their atmosphere. Maybe those are the women that he has access to and that are in his environment. He may have never stepped out into the real world and experienced women who carry themselves a little differently. So we have to excuse that, right? So please stick with what's in your environment. You know what you have access to. Okay, this is not, he can't speak for all women and all men. He's probably only been out of Nashville maybe a couple of times. Aren't you from Nashville, Kentucky? One of them little. So we have to, but I'm just playing with him. But in all honesty, what I find, especially when you're talking on these panels, right? I used to take offense to what people say, and I thought they don't live with you. They don't live around you. They probably don't even have access to the same people you have access to. The values around them are probably totally different from what you have around you and what you value as a person. So you have to meet people where they are and understand that this is how Hink lives. These are the women that Hink is around. So we have to listen to Hink and empathize with him that he's around a lot of hoes, you know, that's out on the street. This is not everybody's story. This is Hink's story.
We need to validate his feelings.
And we're sorry for you.
Hink, you better stand up for yourself.
Let me tell you what I know. This is, in other words, Shan said, who hurt you, Hink? That's all what she tried to say. And so
nobody can hurt Hink. I can tell.
And I'm okay with that. Because the heifers that speak against me, they know I speak truth. And it hurts.
It's true.
It cuts deep. It cuts deep. God damn it. I hate it for you. But that truth hurts sometimes. I know you rather live a lie than hear the goddamn truth. Then live on, heifers.
I pray one day that you move.
Let me go ahead and get Bo in there. Bo, should a man wait to date until his money is right?
Okay. So yes and no. Yes, because I understand how much men value money and value being providers. No, because you miss out on the best dating years by doing that, because both of you all are young and broke and inexperienced. And it's better that you get to know people right outside of their fundamental years rather than later on in life. So I think that money doesn't matter, but it does. I don't live outside of reality. Um, I think that 20 something year old men just have to come to the reality that you're just broke. These are the brokest years of your lives, but they're the best years to get to know each other and to build a foundation for a relationship. So I understand why they do, and I agree with them if that's what they choose. But I also know that wasting time is a real thing too.
All right, that brings me to my next question then. Do women leave too fast or do men take too long? Anybody can respond. I see y'all got sign language, but y'all can respond.
I think it's both of them. I think that men take too long because they overthink the money thing. And I think that women are too impatient as well. We raise our daughters to think that men are supposed to pay for everything and they're supposed to take care of you and do all of these things. So they have unrealistic views of how relationships work financially, especially in their younger years. So I think it's both. I think that we need to stop setting unrealistic expectations for the men to accomplish and the women to expect. So I think it's both of them.
Anybody else want to respond to this, or y'all have the same response?
Most of the time, they was taught by their ragged ass mammies. These women was to teach them to get a rainy day fund, to get out of jail, and just in case things go left fund. Get a man all you can. Use him till you can't use him no more, and then you as the word says, throw him back out in the streets. Women was taught that. Now, men, you are foolish for allowing it to happen. Because they can't make you do something you don't want to do. They cannot. Now, unless you're a weak, spineless man, they got some out here in these streets, unfortunately, then they're going to do whatever they want to you. But yeah, those type of men they don't stand a chance. But if they want to because really they don't, because women don't really like dealing with them. They like using them. They're like taking advantage of them, but they don't want them to be blessed with their last name because they know they're going to get ran over out by she's not going to be the only one. If she can ran over, everybody else in the world's going to run over. They really don't want those type of men. They want the masculine men, but they can't handle them. You know why? Because of their standards and they can't live up to them. They've been used and abused too long. They can't stand up to them. Knowing their body count is high. They can't stand up to a certain man's type standard. So they can look at them from a distance. Man, I wish I had a hink. Now, but you know why you can't have a hink? Because your standards ain't up to hink's level. You heifers don't stand a chance with a hink. That's why you talk down to hink. I talk bad about hink. I make fun of hink, call hink mean and misogyny and this and that. But see, I got those standards that you wish your man had. Instead, you mess with that boy that you call a husband, or that boy you call a boyfriend, or that boy you call a man, which he's all in the while wishing you could be with me. You probably think about my name as you. Let me don't go too far. I'm gonna stale down a little bit, but y'all know what I'm saying. I'll leave it there.
JR, I think it's hilarious. What do you mean by men take too long?
Do they take too long to get their stuff together?
Oh, okay. That's why I asked. I didn't know what you were referring to. I'll answer it like this. I don't personally think men can take too long, and the reason why is because the journey of a man in development is a lifetime thing. There's going to be things that you acquire in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and so on. And I think that there's just too much emphasis on a man arriving. I think that it would behoove women to find a man who is moving, is in pursuit. Because if he is in pursuit and he's focused, it's one of those things. There's it's inevitable that he will arrive at a place to where things will start to show themselves. So I think that if you meet him and he doesn't have whatever, I guess you assume he's supposed to, you need to be figuring out where he's headed. If 75 years on average, most men have a lifespan, I believe, give or take. So if you meet him in his 20s or 30s, you got a good 35, 40 years to watch him continue to develop. That's my take on it.
I think if you base this question on a woman's timeline, then yeah, everybody's gonna say, because women hit the wall and they have a timeline that they have to beat. So, a woman at 40 saying that a man still don't have his stuff together at 40, yeah, to her, he took too long. But to a guy who's not moving or who's not on a woman's timeline, he just moved at his pace. Men hit their prime later in life. Women hit their prime earlier in life. That's a biological fact. And for men, when we hit our primes, we're not talking about physically. When women's prime, we are talking about physically. Our primes are as far as our earning potentials, our skill sets, and our experience, which tend to turn us into the men that women look for as partner to become partners to or husbands of. So I don't think that we can, and I also don't think that women leave too fast either. What I think women do is they get lucky and get a guy they want and didn't do the work to keep him prior to. So they'll get a guy, they'll get our attention because he's pretty, because she was nice or she was funny, or maybe she's one of those few women who is cool with a coffee date. But then as we build with her, we find out that she's going to be an asset. She's not she's going to be a liability, not an asset. We find out that her personality is just kind of ass. Or we just find out that the sex is bad. Whatever it is that we value, we find out she doesn't have. And then because she didn't do those things, we treat her differently. So to her, she's thinking, well, I'm not getting anything from this guy. I'm not getting the things that I want from him. So then she leaves. So I wouldn't fault the woman for that, but I want to highlight the fact that if a guy won't leave a woman or take too long for a woman, it's worth him getting his shit together for. So if she comes in the door doing what she's supposed to do after he's chosen her, he's going to continue to do what he's got going on. So I can't really fault either side for the question, but the part where we're just not ready for the partners that we're looking for, that's the part where I'll take issue.
Willie, so it's going to go back to what I said earlier. My belief is that a woman should just date men that are just more older. The question was, do men take longer? If a guy's 30 years old or 40 and he doesn't have anything to offer, then I mean, yeah, he took too long. If a woman is 19 years old and she's starting to date and she's looking to finally substantiate herself to find a husband, that's the best thing to do. Some women, what they do is they go to college, they want a career, so then they end up dating at 27, 28. That's a little too late. So now you're paying catch up. And then the guy that you're going to get, if you meet a guy and let's say you take my advice and you want to date a little bit older and he's 33 and he doesn't have nothing together, but you do like him, like you're physically attracted to him, but he just doesn't have anything together, then yeah, he took too long. So it just goes back to what I was saying. I just feel like that's why that age thing was something that our ancestors did, is because it reassures a couple of things. If a guy is older, but he's not established, he's lazy, he probably just didn't do what he was supposed to. If a woman is not married by 30, then it's like, what was going on? No guy chose you. What was the issue? What's the issue? Your attitude, you're not willing to submit. Like, there's a lot of questions you can get answered just based on the age. See what I'm saying? So I just think it goes to that. I don't necessarily
straight like
I
that.
agree with you, Jim.
Yeah.
I disagree.
With which part? With which part?
I mean, I think that would be a good argument if they were marrying somebody. Y'all aren't marrying anybody.
No, men marry. No, men marry. Men marry.
So what's the percentage that men marry?
The percentage?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna answer her question. I don't know the percentage. So tell me the percentage real quick.
So 30-something%.
All right, and the reason why it's 30% is because most women think they're wives, but they're not. You guys all call yourselves wives, but you're not a wife.
I get it. So
you are not a wife.
Listen, so that's fine if the person is not a wife. All I said was, what's the percentage of you dating? You guys always say we can pick any race of women. All races of women want us, right? So okay, maybe black women aren't ready to be wives, but there are wives out there. Why haven't you chosen a wife? She does not have to be black. I'm saying any wife. Go pick a wife. Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, whatever you want to do. Why aren't you marrying somebody?
I can answer
that. So my thing is,
hold on, let her finish.
Don't compare it to women. Men compare themselves to men, other races of men. When you're looking at other races of men, how do you compare as far as marriage is concerned? When you have access to every race of woman, this is not the 50s. You can marry a white woman. You can marry a Latina. You can marry anybody you want to marry. So why aren't you marrying?
I can tell you real quick before Willie goes. Willie, I know you got to answer for it. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm just gonna answer her real quick because she came off of my comment. To answer your comment real quick, most races of men marry within their race, and their women are more submissive.
You don't have access, so you're saying that
I'm gonna
hold on, Shan. I'm
gonna answer your question. You're saying that as so-called black men, we have the pick of the litter. We can date any race, which is true. The problem is we prefer to marry our own women because most people prefer to marry within their own race. Majority of people prefer to marry within their own race. So I know you guys see a lot of athletes marry outside their race. That's not the general consensus in real life. Most black men are waiting for black women to come around so we can marry you guys. Other races of men get married faster and quicker because their women are easier to become wives and they're trained to be wives. You guys are not trained to be wives. from Chinese women to Indian women to Afghans, from women from the Middle East. Name them all. They were all raised from little kids to be wives. You guys were not. You guys were raised to be independent and go get a job and get a man later. So therefore, Black men who want to marry you guys have to wait longer for you guys to come around to understand what it means to be married. You have to submit to your man. That's the only way to get a husband, is to submit to him. And I'll just to answer her question on why. So Willie, you can go ahead.
Hold on, Shannon. Give me 1 second. Let's go to Willie and then we'll come right back to you to respond to both of them. Go ahead, Willie.
So the question, she said that 33% of men marry. That's not true. Global, I mean, America, 60% of men, 60 to 75% of men will marry at least once in their life. Between the ages of 20 to 54, only 33% of men are married. But this is where you have to actually be able to understand and digest the information that you're being given. It says are married. That means currently married.
I know overall who have been married, not are married.
That's not true either. Because again, I'll put the stats in the chat for you so you can see that you're wrong. But this is the problem when we have these statistics and we're just saying stuff.
No, I know how to read stats. Please.
It sounds okay. If you knew how to read stats, then you wouldn't have said what you said. But I'll put them in.
So I went from blackdemographics.com. Where are you getting yours?
The U.S. Census Bureau.
And it says the number.
We're not going to get back in semantics because I'll support mine with factual evidence everybody can see.
I can as well.
So the problem is when you're saying that why aren't Black men married? Because Black men are fiercely loyal to Black women. Overall, the majority of Black men who do marry choose to marry Black women. The overall majority of Black men who choose to date are dating Black women. So to straight like that point, again, Black women just typically aren't taught to, they aren't prioritized to be wives. She's been taught to prioritize being a wife. They're taught to prioritize a career, being independent, and then getting a husband later after they've, had a life. Other cultures aren't like that. So I have no issue with that either, personally, because it doesn't affect me. It won't affect my children. But when we have these conversations, we're talking about it, acting like Black men or Black men don't marry. We do marry. We're just not marrying y'all.
So my question was when I said amongst
That's what
other,
you said.
So give me a second. I said amongst other races of men, when you compare men to men, stop comparing yourselves to women. I think we're the only people who do that. When you are comparing men to men, and when it comes to other races around the globe, we are the least married. We have the least married men.
But I think that to your comment, Shan, you're kind of providing and dispelling your own point. It's a numerical anomaly if we are a small demographic of dating out of our race to have it weigh heavy as numbers go. I think the percentage of men who date outside of our race in the Black community is less than 5%, if even that. So therefore, your point, I don't know if it has a solid one because it's not high enough in numbers. If the disparity was bigger and it was 50% of Black men are dating out, then I would see your argument. But if 80-something% of Black men stay loyal to the race, then you have your answer. Like that's why it doesn't weigh even on the global scale.
So let me just so let's just say in real life, step outside. I think we've all had people who've been in relationships for years and he's never been engaged. Maybe you have even been in that relationship. We had a great woman, and for whatever reason, you just did not want to marry this chick, right? I fail to believe that you guys have all come across women and none of you guys have come across a great woman.
Well, we can say that about say that about all of you 40-plus-year-old single women that haven't come across a good man.
Well, women aren't in charge of marriage. Men are in charge of marriage, right? That's your role to take that step. We give you access to us, and then it's your. It's almost like you got to run the touchdown in. Like I can throw you the ball, you either get it in, or
so you're right.
You got to end the game. Like you got to
use your own analogy. You have to throw us a ball, but you a shitty quarterback, and you have no accuracy.
Then don't talk to her. So basically,
that's what we're not doing. That's exactly what we're not doing. We're not talking to these women. So you saying that men haven't found a wife by saying,
not what I said.
Are you saying a man, if we haven't, you refuse to believe that we haven't found a man or a woman, that we could marry? You're kind of cutting off, you're saying your own nose when you say that, because if that's the case, then if we're so loyal to y'all and we're not finding wifely women in the group of women that we're loyal to, that doesn't say anything about us. It says everything about y'all.
So all we're doing is taking your word for it, right? All I'm saying is if you ever been
my links are in the chat.
In reality, if you ever met people who's been with a down chick, right? and she's with him, and it just never led to marriage for what, and that could be you or somebody else. And you don't have to answer this honestly right now, because I already know the answer to it. And you were with her for years because you knew she wasn't a wife in that first year, the second year, maybe even the third year, but you was with her for multiple years. That, it's something wrong with that.
Hey, Shan, real quick, before Lapeef moves on to the next question, what is a wife in your opinion? Is it just sex?
No, I think that
All right,
a wife can be different for different people. Not all men want the same thing out of a wife, but it's
no,
not.
no,
Just,
a wife is the same thing across the board, just like a husband's the same thing across.
Well, people
a wife
have
is the same thing across the board.
All right, hold on, Samantha. Let us answer the
people
question.
have preferences in the qualities they want from a wife. Yes, there are general things: cook, clean, taking care of home, being a domestic, right? But some men look for things outside of that. Some people just say, "I just want that." Right? You have to want to be around a person. It's so much that goes into it. But what I'm saying is, if you know that person is not the person, why waste that person's time? Just keep it moving.
Okay, so I'm gonna just answer it real quick. I'm gonna answer.
Look, ladies,
answer it real quick.
Hold on. We are talking over each other.
The goalpost has been moved.
Yeah, if you don't want to get married, you got to have expectations.
I mean, it's an honest question whether the goalpost is moved or not. It's just an honest question. I really wanted to know the answer to it.
I was going to tell you,
you ought to expect marriage. You ought to expect marriage from that man. You need to have a timeline. And if he doesn't marry you, that's your fault. That's your fault, ladies. If you don't ever get married and you stay with a man for 5 years and you never get married, then that's your fault, because you never let it be known that you want to get married. And if you did, you should have held him to that. And if he doesn't do it, then walk away. But no, you have to stay around because y'all know that dick good. He got enough money. And that's why you stick around.
I think that women often lie about the D. That's the problem.
I'm not talking over you. Can you not talk over me? Why would you change anything like that? Oh, you thought the Lord was going to change it for you? Only thing the Lord's going to bless you with your acts. You got to put your acts in. It ain't just blessing or praying for it. You got to act on it. So if that means the Lord tells you to walk away because that man's not willing to marry your ass, then do such a thing. But like I said, y'all don't do it because he's having everything else playing house with you, keep you stringing along. He going to keep fucking on you good. He going to keep on having certain expectations. But guess what he'll never do? He'll never put a ring on it. Shout out to Beyonce.
So thank you for answering my question that is what they are doing.
Yeah, but that's both. But you can't say that the reason why we as a percentage are not marrying our own women is because
I didn't say my own woman. I said any woman.
No, but the brother already gave you the stat. He already told you we are more loyal to you guys. We're not trying to date Jennifer Lopez or nobody else. Most so-called black men are trying to marry their own women. The problem is you guys don't want to be wives. Or as I asked you just a second ago, what is a wife? You said it depends. It doesn't depend. A wife is a particular role. A husband's a particular role. A wife has to do certain things. And the thing is, most of our women, they want to sit on the same level as us. That's the problem. And so you're not on the same level.
Is it that they don't want to or they don't know how? Go ahead, Bo.
They can't.
Both. I would say both. But
yeah. Go ahead, Bo.
Several things. The first thing is we both of us are in the same position, men and women, when we are young. Men are trying to get their money up. Women are trying to get their money up. We're doing the same things, but we only vilify the women for doing it. Also, we're not raising anyone to be a husband or a wife. I don't understand why you all think that we're just not raising our girls, but we're raising our boys to be husbands. We're not. We're not raising them to be in relationships, period. We are raising them as a community, as this community. We can only afford to raise our children to survive. And then we grow up, forget how it was when we were children as Black people. And then we're like, y'all not wives. Your mamas didn't raise you to be wives. They couldn't afford to, because we can't let our children not work hard. Unfortunately, the priority is survival for our community. And we do have to do a better job at that. But let's not play the game like our mothers are just not teaching us to be wives, but y'all fathers taught y'all how to be husbands. Your fathers taught you how to go to work and make money. Your fathers did not teach you how to treat women. Also, men do want to marry their own women, but let's not get it twisted. It is not more men that want to marry us than we want to marry them. I just want to point that out. But I'm not going to refute your point about y'all wanting to marry us. But we are more loyal than y'all. FYI.
I will agree with what Bo said as far as the survival and the conditions of the community. I will vehemently disagree that men are not capable of functioning as a husband. And as far as loyalty goes, I think that, and maybe this is something that we can do better, as we move forward in these discussions. I don't believe it takes that much for a man to know how to commit to a woman and what he ultimately wants to establish with that woman. I don't even think that it has a big role prospectively from what a husband is supposed to do. I think that this is, like I said earlier, as a man's journey, you learn a lot of stuff as you move along. But the willingness for men to want to be with a woman, cultivate with a woman, have a relationship with a woman, typically is baked into his DNA. We are, in my opinion, a lot more relationally loyal than women. Because when we think about women as a whole, we're not thinking about just the function of her. Like, oh, well, she bakes biscuits from scratch, or she cleans the house, and all these other components. Whereas on the adverse, typically when you hear a woman talk about a man, they're not talking about the man, his mindset, his character, his soul. They're talking about his framework, what GPA he has or where he worked or whatever it may be. I see a lot of women.
First of all, we are the lowest economically, and everybody we marry, most people are not balling like that, marriage men. So we love you. A lot of these marriages are love, baby. If it was on anything else, it would be you. Okay, I'm just being honest.
Hold on, y'all. I'm not sure if he was finished.
No, it's cool. I got it.
So I think that it is love that keeps us doing what it is that we're doing. And I'm not saying it's not that you're not giving us love too. I think back and forth. I personally think, and I'm gonna leave with this. The problem is people want relationships. They don't want the responsibility of a relationship. And that is what's going on right now. You got these little options out here. Nobody wants to take responsibility of leaving your individual life behind to take care of other people. And that's really the problem. That's just what I see.
I will agree with you on that point. But what I was trying to convey was kind of what Bo was saying. Maybe it is the condition of the survival. Maybe it is the fact that socially, economically, our communities. Bo said something earlier. You're broke in your 20s. Our community is broke, and it's not just financially. We're broke because it's fragmented. So most of the time, if you're dealing with the same demographic, you're going to walk into the same conditions. But I would disagree that men as a whole do not want relationships the way it's being conveyed. I think men actually want relationships more than women do, to the point to where it's healthy and it functions. This is just what I've observed.
Do they want marriage though? Not the relationship, but marriage.
I'm going to go after Cookie.
I believe so. Because if men ultimately did not care, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if we didn't care, you would not hear these panels, you would not hear these discussions. If we did not care, if it did not matter, because I don't hear men talk about we want a bunch of girlfriends. I don't hear men talk about we just want women to exist around us. I hear men saying, where are the quality women that we can end up with, that we can marry? That's what I hear.
I got one question, Cookie, just 2 seconds. What's his name? I'm sorry, I can't see. Real fast. I have a question. You can answer because it is personal. You seem like a decent guy, right? So you've never had a woman who showed wifely qualities to date you before?
No, not to the level of what I knew a wife could be, because I've actually observed it. My parents been together for 40-something years, so I know what a wife is.
Damn.
What I could tell you is that most women assume that they are capable of being a wife, but they're not mature enough to walk out this journey. They know how to be. Oh, I'm sorry.
So what is that to you? What are the qualities? Teach us what the qualities of a wife are, and then tell me what the qualities of a husband is. Both.
Cookie, don't forget your point.
A wife to me is someone who knows what she is supposed to provide in a relationship. Her supportive role. She has decorum. She is emotionally mature. She understands that life has ebbs and flows. She's more than likely going to be spiritually led. It is not for her to compete with her man. It's there to complement her man. She is supposed to provide all of her gifts, all of her talents, all of her energy to the family. And she ultimately is equal in value, but secondary in presentation. She is always going to be the support role. Patient, diligent, loyal. I'll keep it there. And I don't think that that's current day women. I think that straight like that said, most of our women, if we're talking about our community, are in competition with the men. And they want to be equally represented in a way of power or how power is viewed. That's what I see.
And what about men?
A man, what is a husband? A husband is somebody who understands that he is supposed to always be the backbone and the foundation of his family. He's supposed to have a plan for himself, and he's supposed to have a plan for his family. He's supposed to be extending himself. So he does a function of providing, protecting, educating, structuring, discipline, and so on. His whole function is to extend himself and replicate. So if he's a good, solid man, it should span into his woman, into his children. He should be somewhat duty oriented, have a community mindset, and he's selfless. That's what I think.
All right, go ahead, Cookie, Willie, then Naomi.
I'll try to keep it quick. First of all, I think that the blanket statements, like Monet said earlier, are what's triggering everybody. But just like you haven't been able to relate to you feel like there aren't any wives out there, right? But I was raised in a 2-parent home too. And I had all the nice things and I was raised, but my life was actually planned for me. It was everything except for the cow and the husband. Okay? So I had a path I was going down. So my whole life has been structured, right? Until I tore my ACL and got pregnant. Oops. So I became a mom. But all of this yapping, how old are you, True?
39.
So with all of this yapping, because see, I'm 43. This is why I look for divorced men that it need to be pushing 50. Because this is like over analytical. And it's literally the topic of JR's show today. Relationships are easy. We're the ones who ruin them. Like this whole conversation is how relations get ruined. You already have a fixed mentality that modern women are not wise. There are some out there. There are. You just got to go to the right places. Women, use your discernment. Stop getting with these YNs. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is we have to stop using blanket statements in your life and trauma speaking on these. And everybody's like, oh, speak the truth. I'm trying to speak the truth here. That's why I get so frustrated. I try to come in with a different aspect of how life is for our people. I ain't live like regular black people. So I can't relate to none of this shit. But what I'm telling you is this conversation is exactly what JR is talking about. Overthinking shit. So that's all I had to say.
Well,
All right,
go ahead, Willie. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You want to respond, True? Then we go to Willie.
I can appreciate what Cookie said, and I'm not trying to come across overly analytical, but I do believe that as a man, because Monet asked what a husband is somebody who has foresight. So he should know what he's looking for. I think that our community at one time valued a man who was analytical, valued somebody who had wisdom. That has diminished over the years. So when I'm observing the landscape, I'm observing it from a different perspective of most men my age, most men in my demographic, because I've also seen it. Most of the women now, my mother says this. I talk to her all the time. My mother says this as a married woman who's happy, says that the women of today and the women in our community are not mature enough to want to arrive at what is necessary for them to be wives, because it's a mindset. That's what she's even saying. And as a man dealing with women, yeah, we experience this. Men on the panel say it all the time. There is a battle that's going on, and I think that women think that the dress and the look is a wife, not understanding that a wife is a sacrificial position on a daily. It requires a commitment of you that in a single state of mind, you don't get. When you decide to be with a man, like Hink says it all the time, if I bless you with my last name, sweetie, I am employing you for life. So I'm going to need everything that you have, everything that you're capable of. And most women nowadays don't have that mindset. And that's just the truth.
All right, let's go ahead and get Willie, Naomi.
I better get y'all a former
I think Bro
athlete.
wanted to say something based off of expressions, and then we'll go ahead and get to the next video.
Here's what I see. At the end of the day, people need to look and realize that their current reality is nothing more than an amalgamation of their choices and the things they've done in life. So if you aren't where you are in life, that's your fault. If you're 40 and don't have a husband, you didn't do what it takes to have a husband. If you're a 40-year-old man and you don't have your money together, you didn't do what it takes to have that. We get up here a lot on these panels and people are saying that, talking about, well, this is what we should do, but like, what have you done? Like one of the things that kind of annoys me is I see a lot of people talking about things that, sound really cool, but you can tell just based off their own lives, it's not what they're doing. So, like to her point, she says that, the Cookie says, she can't relate to a lot of stuff we're talking about because she wasn't raised that way. I think that the majority of people can relate to the stuff they're talking about because they're currently experiencing it. So when you hear what they're saying, it should tell you like exactly where they are in life. Like for her, she said, she grew up, her life was structured. Most women can't say that. Most women can't say they had any type of structure in life. Their parents were living check to check, trying to make shit happen, make sure birthdays were celebrated, make sure the school plays was attended, and all of those things. That's all. That's fine now, right? But we're 40 now. So what's the excuse that we have now for not having, or we've had time to go get the things we want in life. Bo said that earlier that men and women are both struggling in college. That's just because they're adults. A woman's primary agency is her beauty. A man's primary agency is his ability to provide. So that's the difference. A man has to go earn that. A woman has to maintain and keep her beauty, which is and by beauty, I'm saying like keeping her legs closed and not saying taking miles of dick before she's 35 and a man won't want to marry her then. So a woman is given her value when she's born. A man has to go earn his. So women get their value super young. And if they're at 40 years old and thinking they're going to get a guy that has, done what he's supposed to do to become one of them men that she wants to marry, it's not realistic because you're no longer his best option. You're not the best option for the guys you want. That's why they're not picking y'all.
How old are you, Mr. Willis?
Who is y'all?
I'm sorry, black women. I'm sorry, not you specifically, but generally speaking.
How old are you, Willie?
41.
You're 41, and you make a decent living, correct?
I do fine.
Okay, and you're married, correct?
No. I've been married for 18 years though, but I'm not married now. No.
Oh.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and get Naomi in there, then Bo.
All right, so I have a couple of things. One is majority of women that I'm seeing in today's time are fighting to keep their own identity while expecting marriage and not being what they're moldable to become a wife to a husband. I know for myself, I'm not going to negate there are men and women everywhere doing everything whatnot, but from what I've learned and from what I've seen is that a woman becomes moldable to a man's purpose. But as women become older, they become so involved in their own identity and what they've solidified for themselves that they're not willing to involve that into the man's purpose. And a lot of men who are in their late 30s or 40s have already reached a point in their life where they're already the good men, quote unquote, the good men already are walking and operating in their purpose, but the women are not wanting to leave their own, what they've built for themselves to become the wife that's supportive. So I base this on my belief, like in God. So I believe in God. And so because I'm a rib, that means I'm a pillar to support him where he's at. Now, depending on the man whom I choose, because that's where communication comes into play, depending on the man whom I choose. Now, if he's a honorable man and he cares for me, he wants to marry me, then he will involve what I have built up until then, especially if it's something that I'm passionate about. Although if he doesn't, then that's a poor choice on my reflection as a woman, because why would I get with a man who doesn't care about what I care about? It doesn't make any sense. If you're wanting to be a wife, then you should be moldable to the husband that you desire. But if you're not wanting to be, or you're fighting to keep your identity and what you created for yourself while you were by yourself, then you obviously want to be by yourself. That because men tend to want to build a platform for the relationship, and women succeed during self-sufficiency up until a certain point. But then there comes a point where men are now thinking of everybody together. And if a woman is still thinking of her by herself, then how is that her being marriage minded or marriage focused? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I agree with that, Naomi. I do see where you are getting that information from because I've seen it on the internet. But the women I've seen around, most women will mold themselves to their man. Women will be sports fans, ain't never cared about sports. They'll ride on the back and be a biker girl for their husband. I mean, for their man. The women I have been around, when they get a man that they into, logic goes out the door, and everything he says is like, okay, whatever.
Can you mold into the direction that JR is trying to take us down? Like he said,
no,
Bo is
I'm just answering what Nate. Okay, but when we're talking about in general, I think it's a lot of times it's internet talk. I don't base my life off the internet. If I went by half the things y'all said, Lord Jesus, I go crazy. I have to take a break from y'all, But when I walk outside, I see people mating in Black relationships with people of average that look like them. They may not be married, but they walking together. They've been in relationships for a decent amount of time, right?
So then if you hold on, pause. If you surround yourself with people who are majority Black men and Black women, and they're in relationships with Black men and Black women, why are you fighting the guy's perception about saying like, oh, well, if you're a Black man, you're not married to a Black woman? That doesn't make any sense.
I've never said
because they
you sat up
Hold on,
here
y'all.
for
Can't hear y'all.
like 15, 20 minutes and went back and forth and said like, you're a Black man at any woman. Why won't you marry any woman? So then you're actually contradicting yourself right now.
No, ma'am, because I didn't say they were married.
No. Actually,
you are married. I didn't say they were married.
So even in a relationship, though, you said Black men are not with Black women majority.
No, I said married to. Please get my sweetheart. I'm not the one. Get my words right. I said married to.
Because
marriage rates are low. I said marriage rates are low.
Then are you not supporting marriage? Then you're only supporting people who live together in a relationship.
No, okay.
You're supporting roommates.
Let me clarify. Okay? So let me clarify.
Yep.
Let me clarify. I want to see Black people get married, not just in relationships. I ask, why is the marriage rate? I can care what you're doing in commitment. Why are their marriage rates low? Because we can shack up all day, 5, 6. That's why I asked the guys, well, how long have you been in a relationship? Why did you let it take that long? Because you didn't get it to the finish line. So I want to not see us just shacking up, cohabitating, kids out of wedlock. I want to see us get married to each other. So when I walk outside, I see people who are not necessarily married to each other, but they're in relationships with each other. Does that make any sense? Did I clarify? Okay.
No, but go ahead, Bo. Shout out to Bo.
Jesus Lord. I want us to stop acting like women are just out here for ourselves just because we're single and just because we've built a life for ourselves. It's wild to me to hear a woman say that. As if there are not women out here that are single, literally building a life for themselves to ready themselves to be in a relationship. We are out here healing, doing the work that we need to do to be happy independently so that we are not draining whatever partner we get. We are out here trying to be financially independent so that we won't be out here draining whatever partner we get. Because I think that it's very dumb in this economy for a woman to not be able to stand on her own, because you cannot put the load on a man. That load should not be on any man that does not make above average, because a lot of these men are just making it too. So women need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, because the average man cannot take care of you. It has to be the both of you. So to think that a woman is out here just being independent, I don't need no man. No, you need not to need that man, because at any moment this economy could go belly up. And if now one of y'all got it together, what is gonna happen? If you don't have it together and your man got a job, but the economy is shitty, then what? You just gonna let him suffer just because you want to be his rib? Listen, you need to be out here getting it, because when you get in that relationship, you need to not be a burden on that man, and vice versa. That is why we are out here working for ourselves. And anytime, to Cookie's point, let me tell you something. The guy that I'm seeing now, I can't stand sports. But what's the game? Who playing tonight? And and so then I got to go back to my little knowledge about basketball while the playoffs going on. And I'm just in there cheering on whoever he cheering on. I don't know, because that's what women do. I'm not so independent that I'm just like, I don't like sports and I ain't watching it. I ain't interested. No, I'm interested in what you're interested in. I just don't prefer sports, but I'm going to be in it with you, because that's how we spend time together. That's quality time. Sensible women think like that. And you all are having these rigid ass views about single women that is really crazy. And to think that a woman, 44 here, in a couple of months, 45, to think that a woman my age is not an asset to you, that's perfectly fine. Take your ass on. Please don't bother me. Because to think that I have not gained a bunch of knowledge, to think that I have not gained a bunch of wisdom, and I'm not in my prime, the only thing I'm not prime in is having babies, because I don't want none. No way. So even if a man wanted some, you can skate by me too. But to think that I'm not in my prime, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I am the smartest I've ever been. I'm the wisest that I've ever been. I'm the most level head that I have ever been. It's a good peaceful time over here. In your 40s, 40-year-old women couldn't give a shit about arguing with you. It is the peaceful time over here. So to think that, that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with you thinking that. Go ahead. I'm not trying to change your mind, but just leave me alone. Don't bother me and
JR, I
women
have a
like me.
question. It'll be quick. She said that the average man can't support a household on his own, and I just want to ask: average women generally don't want average men. So, of the ladies on the panel, which one of y'all are willing to date an average man? All right.
I'm not average. Why would I do that?
No, real
But see,
quick,
that
Willie.
comes from my
That was a good.
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was such a good.
that Cookie, I didn't expect you to say that you would, because again,
No.
I gave, and this is for the little bit that I know about you. The fact that you said you were raised with structure is above average by in and of itself. But that's my point.
Yeah.
There are a lot of women saying, "Well, average man can't do." Why are we talking about the men that women don't even go out here and look for? Now, nothing wrong with, mind you, I think that the majority of people are average. Is why the word is average. No issue there. I don't have anything. There's no diss to average people. But what I also know is that black women take offense to being called average. They take offense to being given average. They have an issue with average. They don't want their children to be average. They don't want them to get average grades. So when we speak about like what we should do with average men, and what the grace we should give to average men, y'all aren't giving men that same consideration when it comes to dating them. That's my only point.
It was a good question,
All the
Willie,
average men
because
I know married though, like low key.
That's smart. That's the best thing for average man
well,
to do.
listen, hold on, Cookie. You said most of the average men you know are married.
They met their wives
Mona,
in college though.
that's
It
fine,
wasn't
that's
no
fine. But Mona's
random.
saying, but to her, see, when Mona said what she said earlier, it's starting to unravel what she was saying, because she's saying that we don't marry at all.
But I don't want to get in my
You know what I'm
friend's
saying? Like,
business because I
no, I know,
want
I
y'all to
got
make
you.
sure.
No, I got you. I got you.
They
I went down
waited.
this
Them
rabbit
girls
hole.
hung on for dear life for that
Dear
ring.
life, right? As you
Yeah,
should,
it
as you
was like
should, and
7 years. Some of them. That's a
as you
long
should,
time.
as you should,
Hey,
because
shout
they
out to
met young. So I
shout out
understand
for
that.
hanging
You know what I'm
on.
saying?
But I think Jay, I was trying to move on to the next topic straight like that.
Oh, okay. All right. What? All right. Go ahead, Joe. I'll save it. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, so go ahead and save it. But make sure when we transition, don't dig back into this topic and bringing it to the next topic, because I know sometimes we like to do that. And just really quickly too, I've heard a lot of men say that they don't really mind a woman with an education and being able to bring those resources, but I think it's mostly the mindset is what they're concerned about. And so that mindset does exist. It's not all. It is possible that you can find someone that has the education that's been getting to the bag. And when you dating older, it's different. It is different. And if you have been single and you haven't found success and you guys meet at that age, it becomes that mindset. Can she relinquish some of that power, that authority that she had to have? Is she willing to bring in a man and be able to coexist together and y'all make things work? Or is it that things have to be my way or this just not gonna work? So I think it becomes a little interesting when you do date older. And some folks have been married for a long time, they don't understand. You have to be out here actively dating to actually understand what's going on. I've seen it. I've seen people who want marriage and who show submission, but then when you have a little bit of conflict or something else comes into to play, they default back to that setting that they've been doing for the past 10, 12 years. Change doesn't happen overnight. So whenever you are actually dating with somebody, like, you have to be really intentional and self-aware about what you're doing to contribute to the failure of it. Because sometimes it is us, and us can be man or woman, because we haven't had much success and we're trying to figure it out. So there's a lot of things that you have to kind of sacrifice and you have to be aware of when you are dating in your 40s and plus.
I'm just trying to cook and make it clap in the kitchen. You know, give my man his plate. Make sure his manhood stay empty so he not cheating. Watch TV and shut up. A lot of people don't know, like, when you have a structured life and when your life's planned out for you, a lot of that don't concern a lot of things. And when I had my daughter, my dad was like, your daughter's dad is gonna be in her life. If you gotta hold off and you lay down with that man, if you're not getting married, you shouldn't be dating until your daughter is an adult. And I didn't. I respected what my dad said. He was the leader of our family. So here I am, the best part of me. And I who was that? But like Bo said, like I think I did it the right way. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. My daughter's 21. I'm only 43. I don't want any more kids. Man, I don't know. Maybe it was the structure in me that felt I'm always gonna find a way to get what I want. So that
It's time to have fun, ain't it?
yeah,
It's
and get
time to
up,
have
yeah.
all the
But
fun.
not that kind of
No
fun. Like,
stress.
I can actually go explore these
Period.
partners. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was protecting
All
her
right,
and make
y'all,
sure.
we gotta go
Yeah,
ahead and transition, man. I know y'all having y'all little moment right now. Um, Mr. Javota with the 125 foreign currency. I don't know why women be lying. If the man doesn't pay for the date, there's a 99% chance that he won't get a second date. As Cookie said, look at what they do, not say. Harrison Davis, also a member for 35 months. Salute to you. And he says, salute. Abraham Lacey, $10, says, Cookie is absolutely right. We overcomplicate relationships because we place our individual wants over what the relationship needs. Get out your own lane. Mr. Javoto again with the 125 foreign currency. Boy, that's BS. Don't act like women are trying to be independent for the benefit of men. Women are single but never want to change to get a man. It's crazy. And lastly, Mr. Lacey again with the $10. What was that, miss? I can't tell. Marriage is delayed because of socioeconomic reasons. Most men are not economically ready until their 30s or sometimes early 40s. However, women should be willing to build with a man early college. The likes are low. I don't know why the likes are low. All I'm asking for is everyone at this present time to hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. If y'all are enjoying the stream and we add some value, giving you guys a little bit of entertainment, all that good stuff, just hit the like button. I do have a poll currently right now that's at the top of the chat. It says, do we overcomplicate relationships or are they just hard? We had 153 votes so far. 48% people say we totally overcomplicate them. 16% says relationships are naturally hard. 29% says depends on the people. And 7% says no clue, still single. If you haven't voted, please vote. I will read the results again after this next topic. Y'all ready? Here go the video.
So you finish your whole phase and now you want to take me serious?
It sounds bad out loud, but yeah, I do.
And what makes you think I want leftovers?
Who leftovers?
Your leftovers. You are the leftovers.
Damn, I wasn't even doing nothing crazy.
Yeah, but you was in these streets doing whatever the hell you want to do. Who knows what you caught from these hoes?
Hey, I wrap up every single time. I'm clean.
I don't care, Amari. It's the principle. No woman wants a guy coming to them after messing with a bunch of women. I'm literally the last option and I ain't going out like that.
So what's the difference between a man having the past and him messing with other women in his past?
They not married to Myra. That's the difference.
So it's really the same situation. Every single guy that you talk to has a past. Even your future husband. Me.
You are not my future husband.
Myra, come on. I don't want to be a player no more. I want one woman being locked in. I want to start a family.
You can make whatever decision you want to make. You could have a whole phase. You could go from woman to woman. But what you cannot do is decline me in the beginning, go live your life, and come back to me and expect me to be here waiting for you. That's not happening.
So how can I make this right? What can I do different?
Unless you have a time machine, nothing.
I don't mean to treat you like a last resort. I was just exploring my options, see what I like. It had nothing to do with you.
If you really wanted me, you wouldn't have the thought of exploring options. You had your chance, and you chose to go another route. There's no rerouting back.
Myra, I made a mistake. I'm human. I'm a guy. I just had a moment. Please.
No. You might as well go finish your whole phase, because you can't come back over here.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Why do men expect women to wait while they play around?
I don't think any man expects that of a good woman. We expect a dude to do that to a woman he can play with. If she's just mattress food, then yeah, like listen, you know, if that woman is his ideal placeholder woman, he may still be like, listen, I know that I got shit I got to do, so let me just tell her this and tell her that so she can stick around. But to the video's point, that shit is backwards. That's not what happens with that's what happens from a man's perspective. Women to wait until they're 40 and then collected all these miles and kilometers of dick and then think they're gonna come back and be a wife to somebody. Like that's crazy. But then she also said, well, why do I want your leftovers? I just want women to realize that's how God should feel when y'all decide to go to church after being hoes for 20 years. Like y'all go to church to get a refresh and want to give him the leftovers, but then think that a man is supposed to be able to accept you for that. Like we're not God. We're not going to forgive your past, dick collecting ways as if like we're equals. A man going out and sleeping with a bunch of women, he can't be a hoe. He's making hoes though. Like that's not only people that think a man could be a hoe tend to be, these empowered, equal women who also may be hoes.
Go ahead, Bo.
I swear to God, I'm in the Twilight Zone. Do you know how many men have lost good women for playing around? the delusion that it takes to believe that men just scoop up good women every time. Oh, she a good woman. Let me. No, they hold on to them with lies and manipulation, and they play around behind their backs, and they lose them because they're cheaters and they're not man enough to say, hey, this is not a good time right now because I'm not ready to settle down. This is what these young guys do. It's not until y'all get older that y'all are like, hey, I ain't looking for no relationship. Like, I know, you a good woman, blah, blah, blah. You can stay around, but I ain't looking for no relationship. It's the mature men that do that. These young guys, they will pass up a good woman in a minute, and then they'll think about it later. They like, damn, do you know how many men I've had be like, man, you was a good one. I know I was, but you weren't. That
How
happens.
many?
The delusion that it takes to believe that it happens on one side and not the other. And I
How many,
respect it.
Bo?
That's your experience. But you
How many,
cannot
Bo?
say, huh?
How many? How many men passed you up and said you was a good woman?
It doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. So
No way.
the delusion that it takes, because I'm not finna talk about my personal life today, especially not with you, Hank. I'm not doing that. But the delusion that it takes to, now, if you were speaking on your experience or the experience of your friends with women, and you were not speaking of women, because the question was about men, let me point that out, and you made it about women, and that's really wild. But if you were actually speaking about the experiences of men and didn't touch the experiences of women, and I ain't got nothing to say. But for you to flip it and say, no, this is a woman thing, that's bullshit. And I'm not going to stand for it, because men do it all day, every day. And to be mad at women for having the same kind of fun y'all have, that lets me know everything I need to know about who you are.
I mean, a hit dog is always gonna holler. But my point was that this was coming. This is like some shit Tyler Perry wrote. Like, he flipped the script. I mean, I understand it's good for content, but that's not the experience that men are having. And I don't. If there's men on the panel that'll tell you that. If correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but are y'all going to women and telling them like, oh man, listen, I'm tired of fucking with these rest of these bitches. I'm ready to come get with you right now. I don't think that we don't do that. So that's why I'm saying it's just a sensational, like a fantastical point that's being put in this video. And I think it's cool how he did it from a content creator perspective, because he's gonna get women like you and the other women who think like you to agree with this and support it, share it, and post it, because it's empowering. Like, yes, we don't want men that have been with a lot of women either. But then we've also proven via you guys' same conversation that you guys don't want inexperienced men either. You guys want a man who knows what he's doing. You're not trying to teach a man nothing. And you can say that you will in your 40s, but that's because your options are lower and you have no choice but to. When you were younger, you weren't trying to teach a man how to do anything. When you're in your 30s, when you're in your prime, you weren't trying to. So I mean, it's super dishonest to pretend like we were right now.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, what woman is going to tell you that she's a bad woman? You won't ever hear that from a woman. So we need to stop every woman thinks that, look her, your girlfriends are bad and you know it, but guess what? She's a good woman. She has a beautiful personality. Y'all lie to each other. Tell each other everything but the truth. So yeah, y'all always going to tell each other, oh, you're a good woman. So like Willie said, is this reverse? We all know what it is. In 2025, these women are going through the whole phrases. Some even going to their late 40s. Some even going to the late 40s and still being hoes. I said it on King Talk. There's some married hoes out here. Don't act like they not. They are. They are hoes in relationships with a man. Don't act like they are. They are. They holding it down. They compressing it. But all in the while, that hoe comes out with them, especially when they go on them goddamn girl trips. Especially when they get out of town, out of the country, and they get that passport. They showing their whole face. It doesn't stop at 20 and the 30s. No, sir, don't do that. Now, for the situation with my man, with the dude in the clip, she did right. I'm not gonna sit there and say she did right. If she's looking for marriage and she's seen this man out here just doing everything and all things, and that's not what she wants in a man, she did everything she should have did. Left his ass at the goddamn restaurant. Left his ass where she found him. You want to continue to be hot? Be hot with one of them hoes you was hot with. Be fast with one of those hoes you was fast with. One of them heifers you was fast. Go be hot with them. Matter of fact, try to marry one of them heifers. But she wasn't with it. So I don't think she did nothing wrong. She did exactly what she should do. If that's what she expected of a man, from a man, she did right. And ladies, y'all probably need to take notes. But we know half of y'all ain't doing that shit. Why? Like I said, because he's making a certain amount of money that you want to let go. You don't want to fatten that frog for these other snakes to eat. So you're gonna hold on. You're gonna wait it out and pray that he change. Pray to the good Lord that he finds the little baby Jesus to save his ass. He's still gonna be that hoe that you go engage with him at, that you met him at that car. He's still gonna be that hoe. But you was hoping you could change him. Ladies, you can't change a man if he's not willing to want to change. I hate to hurt your feelings. If a man doesn't want to change, he's not going to change because of you. He's going to change because he wants to change.
Real quick, I did hear the clip. I thought it was funny. I thought the funny part of the clip was when he, as Willie just pointed out, he was like, "Yeah, I was just messing around, trying to get this out of my system. Then I was going to come back to you." No man says that. No man will ever tell a woman that he's trying to be with any of that. That's just stupid. You understand? So I don't know. I guess he made that for his female content. I think that's how women feel, and that'll be like some sort of like gotcha moment, because that's just how women operate. But I'm just gonna preface this real quick. Men can't be hoes. A man can't be a hoe. I'm gonna say it again. A man cannot be a hoe. That is only reserved for women, because only women get deflowered and get dominated. Now, the only way a man can be a hoe is if he's operating on the other side, the rainbow. If he's on the rainbow community, then yeah, he could be a hoe. But apart from that, a man can't be a hoe. We make hoes. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm a biblical man. I believe in the scriptures. So the scripture says men are not supposed to be whoremongers, meaning you don't make women hoes, meaning you don't participate in prostitution. You don't participate in sleeping around with a bunch of different women. You don't participate in lying to women. So the fact that he admitted that he was a hoe as a male, he a weirdo, because you can't be a hoe. So that's number one. And number two, I don't agree with men sleeping around. I really don't. But if this guy wanted to go out there and pursue other women because he's trying to figure out who this woman was, he should have just told her that from day one. That's a conversation he should have told her from day one. Listen, you're on the list, but I haven't made my choice. If you want to stick around, you can stick around. If you don't want to stick around, you don't have to stick around. That's fine. There's no judgment, no force. But I'm just letting you know straight like that you're not the only person that I'm talking to or pursuing. You understand what I'm saying? So, but I just wanted to add that in there, because I thought that was funny when he admitted to being a male whore. It's kind of stupid.
So
Yeah.
I heard a little bit when I went outside to. Did you want to say something, Naomi? Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so I have a couple of things. It's going to be a little bit more opposite. The question is, why do men expect women to wait while they play around? It's not the reality of what you guys see. I'm not even going to sit here and say that that's not what I've seen. But to turn it around and say, well, that's not really what happens, but it does. It actually does. Men, I have seen it. It's not the majority, because apparently it's not a lot of men who will admit to actually doing this, but men keep women. The word placeholder is existing for a reason. Men keep women as placeholders. And it happens. It happens more than what, but more than what I think you guys, I think right now you're intentionally being disingenuous to the fact that it actually happens more. Now, does the woman end up becoming a placeholder? Because men are not communicating. Just like Hank said, a woman isn't going to tell you she's a bad woman. Well, a man isn't going to tell you if he's a bad man. He's not going to. He's going to tell you, he's going to say, you know what, I want marriage eventually, and he's gonna do things the right way to a certain point and to a certain point as well. But we can't sit here and pretend like that doesn't happen. Now, does it happen majority than the way that it is flipped around in 2025? I'll say no, but it does happen. And when that does happen, I don't know why a man expects a woman to wait and then ends up angry when she doesn't. As far as the clip, I think that the woman chose right whenever she was like, you know what, you want to be a husband, go be a husband over there somewhere. Go choose one of those women that you were blowing their back out while you were trying to figure their life out. Because that's exactly what men tell women. Oh, now you want to be a wife. Okay, well, you don't have as much value to be a wife now. As a matter of fact, they degrade women to the point where they say, you know what, I'll give you a promise ring. Things like that, to a whole nother level. If a woman has gotten to a certain age, if a woman has gotten to a certain point and she's never been married, or she doesn't have kids, or if she does have kids, well, you know what, why didn't you get one of these other dudes to marry you, type of thing, da 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 da. And women are degraded. Women are talked down on. And it's not even a conversation. It's an initial point that you look at a woman. Let's be honest, most men, if you look at a woman who are in her late 30s or 40s, and you look at her and she has 3 kids, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's from 3 different men. That's the first thing. How many men gave you those children? That's the first thing. And it's always going to be negative. In 2025, that's exactly the way that it goes. It's always negative. And is it that? I mean, I don't know, but there's no conversation. As a matter of fact, I hear more men speak and say on why they expect a woman to wait, or why they expect certain things out of a woman being that age in her 30s to 40s, and her not have any value, or her not be as valuable to justify his own actions of not being present or intentional. That is what I'm seeing. That when this does happen, that is what I'm seeing.
I like to comment on what Naomi said, because typically her perspective, in my opinion, is very balanced. I think until now, and it's interesting that we use this clip. We're pulling it apart, so shout out to JR for that, and shout out to Willie for using a term I never heard, mattress food. I'm gonna take that. I like that. That was funny. But basically, this is what happens, ladies. Most of the time, what type of man you're attracted to and what type of man he is as far as his lifestyle. The reason why these conversations are not accurate is because, okay, I'll say it like this. Every woman don't ask every man how many women you talking to. They only ask that to men that they already have observed is moving in that manner. So they know what type of dude he is. The reason why I think the expectation of, oh, she gonna stick around while I play around is because she met him playing around. But if you dealt with a dude that wasn't playing around and you guys were aligned in a relationship, most dudes who want to be with you are gonna come at you that way. They're gonna approach you from a relationship perspective. They're gonna come at you with pure intention. But that's not what the women chase. They chase the man that got the options. They chase the man that's already moving in that manner. So it's in my opinion, it's almost blasphemous that women will meet a man who has the world at his feet when it comes to his choice in women, and then now expect that because he's entertaining her, attracted to her, that he's now supposed to shift and change his lifestyle to accommodate what you ultimately want. That's the only reason why I don't believe this is a genuine conversation, because most men
but
go ahead.
Sorry, truth, right? Is it true? True. No, but to Willie's point, brother, that whole video is not real. No man would do what that guy did. No man would come and tell a woman, hey, I'm done being a male whore. I don't want to date you. That's not real. So they wouldn't even know. You see what I'm saying? Now, granted, some women could go through your phone. They can kind of see that you have female attention, yet they're still messing with you because they know what your value is. And if he's not, and listen, I don't agree that a woman should just sit there on the sidelines for years. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if a man is putting you in a placeholder, he's never going to marry you.
But that's I think that you're kind of saying what I'm saying. And
yeah,
what
I
I've
agree with
observed,
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've observed most of the time, not even going through his phone, she meets this dude. Women ain't dumb. They know what dude got access. They know what dude can pull women. They know what dude is good with women. They pick that dude. And then, in my opinion, ascend themselves to value because they're quote unquote a good woman. So I know he got this access. I know he can have these women, but because I'm a good woman, he should stop. That's foolish. Meet a dude who wants to be with one woman. Meet a dude who wants to date just you. That's not what they do. They go after the guy that they know has access and then feel slighted when he don't stop his lifestyle. You can't placehold a woman who don't want to be placed, bro. I'll say it like
No,
that.
I agree. I'll agree with you. But the one thing that you said I don't agree with, and I'm gonna keep saying it, is every man, especially if he can get women, he's gonna always have women. That's just facts. If a guy doesn't tell you that, he's lying to you. It's cool. But I don't to the clip. I'm just talking about the clip that JR played. That scenario is not real. That's something that that brother, as a content creator, I can tell the females that he sits down and writes scripts. She says, "Oh, we should do this script." That was not his idea. That was a female's idea because in their mind, it's like a gotcha moment. Oh, I envision the guy that played me coming back to me, saying to me, "Oh, I'm ready to settle down." That's a female fantasy. That's what he just did. It was a female fantasy. There's no real dude that gets girls or he's out there doing what he got to do. He's gonna come to his woman that he really cares about, be like, "Hey, listen, I was out here just smashing these chicks, but I'm ready to settle down. So you want?" No, he's just gonna settle down with her. You know.
All right, we got you straight.
Like that.
Let's go to Bo
because Bo said she had a lot of men that did that to her.
Hey, Bo had her hand up for like 20 minutes though.
Yeah, go ahead, Bo.
A lot of men.
Can-
Bo said a lot of men came back to her and said she was a good woman and they missed out.
I didn't say a
That's what
lot.
Bo said
I
now.
didn't say a lot. I just
You
said that
didn't
there
say
were
a lot,
men that
Bo.
did that. I didn't say a lot,
All right, so
How many?
but there were
Hold on,
men.
y'all.
So,
Let's get Bo in there. Then
now one thing I will agree with is that women do have a delusion of changing men. We had this conversation. I was in a conversation that was about that earlier this week, and it was a lot of women that did not want to admit that it's your responsibility to walk away from a man who does not want anything with you. It is not that man's responsibility to tell you to stop talking to him. He's going to talk to you long as you let him talk to you. So it's your responsibility to walk away. I'll agree with that. But I always encourage men to not speak on women's experience because it is your brain that tells you that men don't do that. But men absolutely come back and be like, and not in those words, right? This is just a concept. It's a concept that happens that was played out in a skit. So, no, it does not happen in those exact words. But as a woman, who dates men, right? Because unless you date men, I don't think that you can speak on this experience. But yes, men absolutely, when they get done messing around, they will come back to you. They will spin the block. They know good women. They will spin the block and they will say, "I should have done right when when I had you." And they do try to get you back. And I want men, I'm encouraging you to shut up talking about things that you don't know about, because if in fact this is a thing that has happened in a skit, it does happen in real life. Art imitates life. And as a woman, and I can guarantee you that these women will raise their hands more times than not, a man has spun the block on them because they're good women. And men do that. They find the value after the fact. So yes, they do. They tell
No,
us,
but do they
I'm
say that they
done with
smashed
that.
a lot of women though? No, that's the part that I criticize. I agree with you that they do spin the block. But do they say I'm out here smashing these hoes?
I literally said that those words are not spoken. It is the concept. Conceptually, yes, that happens.
But they don't say that. Okay, so then we agree because they don't say. Because I'm just saying that's the part that
Yeah, they
no
don't say
man will
those
do.
words.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So, Bo, do you think these men spin the block because they want to get back with you, or are they looking at you like an easy lick?
Because they want to get back with you, or both.
I think it's
Because
because you easy. I
some
think
women,
that's the reason.
because of what I just said earlier, because some women have the delusion that they can change you. So some men spin the block because they know that their woman has that delusion that they can keep them and they can change them into these men that they want them to be. So it's a little bit of both.
Sometimes we spin the block because those 10 or however many women we were with before, they vaginas and throats wasn't hitting like yours was. So we want to come back because we understand that, like, hey, at least over here we know she's got this and we can build with the rest. It's not always because you guys are good women. It's just it can oftentimes, from what I'm seeing, it's because y'all are good in bed.
All right, let's go ahead and get Naomi now. Go ahead, Naomi. Then we'll go to
Well,
Angela.
I don't think you guys are. So I think majority of you guys are not even accepting the fact that this does happen. The guy in the clip literally said, I was exploring my options. And men say that shit all the time. Or I'm trying to figure out what I actually wanted. And I didn't know that you weren't what I wanted until I didn't have you anymore. Men say this
But my
a
point, I,
lot. Wait. Please allow me to finish. Men do and say this a lot. And it maybe it's not like a large percentage of women that this happens to, but it does happen. And I think you guys, if you want to speak about the majority, then yes, I would agree that this clip would have been flipped because it is majority of the time that a man tells a woman asking about her body count and how many dudes that she's been with. This would be flipped. As a matter of fact, I would say that the woman and the way that she was speaking in the clip, she sounded more like a man in today's time, majority of the time. Although this does happen, and I think you guys are saying, oh well, even minimizing it down to, oh well, when we do spin the block, it's only because of your throat goat. Okay, that's even minimizing even more the value of the women that does happen to. Is it a large percentage that it happens to? Perhaps not, but it does happen.
Hey, Cookie, did you see the video?
I did
Okay.
not, but I saw the question.
Yeah.
I heard some of it.
What about you, Angela? You see the video? Okay. Maybe I should roll them back one more time for y'all.
Nope.
No?
No, I think if you don't show the video, I think they'll be able to answer the question honestly.
I think you should show the video.
Well, I did have one more video, so man, I didn't want to kind of eat that time up. So y'all just go ahead and answer the question, and then I'll come back to y'all on the next video.
So the question is, why do men expect women to wait around while they play around? I think, I mean, I haven't heard a lot of what people say, but Naomi and Bahim.
You just
You
say
just call
Bo.
me Bo. You can call me Bo.
I do agree with both of your perspectives, and I do think that it's a little bit of both, like Bo said. Also, I think that men a lot of the time just do what you let them get away with. Like if you allow them to continue to have access to you, then they're going to, they're going to keep coming around and not really giving you the full appreciation for your value. You know what I'm saying? Even somebody, I think there are rare cases or situations where a woman should entertain somebody they once dealt with and then they decided to go separate ways. But I think that a lot of time relationships are used as learning instruments for us. And yeah, a man will do what you allow him to do. If you continue to give him access, he's going to continue to come back for whatever reason, whether it was because you were a good woman or whether it was for some other physical or sexual reason. But whenever a person wants to continue to engage with you, it's because you're giving them something of value. And a lot of time men like to downplay what they're coming back for, what they see valuable, or they don't know how to identify the things that they see valuable in the women that they want to continue to have access to.
My whole position real quick was on the fact that if a man is actually being able to say this, he is already above average in the dating pool. So to Naomi's point, to make it seem like it's broad, it's not. Most men, I'd argue, in majority, want one woman and cool with one woman. If this dude got the ability to tell you, chill, sweetie, I'll be back, he a different type of dude. Most dudes can't do that. And I think that because this is just what I've observed, what did Bo say? And I do agree with her. We maybe shouldn't speak to women's experience because we're not women, but then that's on the adverse. A lot of times we watch what women chase. They chase a demographic of man at the highest level. I've never met a woman who dated a dude she didn't want to date. I've never met one. I've never met a woman who dated a man and gave him opportunity to be with her that she didn't ultimately want. So that tells me that women are not taking secondary choices, right? So if she's having conversations with these men, that means that this man is of high desire to her. Overwhelmingly, though, that's not the truth on most men. Most men, if they get the opportunity to get a girl that is quote unquote good, he gonna try to keep her. He gonna do what he can to keep her. But if he is willing to be like, you know what, I see you, but you're probably not that good to him, or he's just a different type of dude. And that's just my position on it. And I digress.
All right, go ahead, Cookie.
I think I don't think men are expecting women to wait. I think they're seeing if they can get away with making a woman wait while they go play around. And it just all depends on the woman. Are you letting her play around too? Are you treating her like a doll on the shelf? Are you telling her, no, you're my girl, and you're just going out sowing your royal oats, potentially bringing venereal diseases back to the relationship, And that goes both ways. What's happening in the meantime, between time. So I think if a man can get away with doing that to a woman, it's in their genetic pool to follow their wee around. That's why my first thing about when you're in a relationship, you got to keep them tired, girls, because this is a real question. I mean, at a younger age, I would get this. Now I'd be like, man, you got gray hair. You need to sit down. That's what you need to do. But I think it's less of an expect and more of a, let me see. Men play games a lot. They like to chase their prey. They're going to get away with it, like she said, whatever you let them. And they going to see if you'll do it. That's just in their nature. I don't think he cares about you a lot if he do you like that, though. Like just leave it.
I would say.
That's what I was saying.
You can say care about you a lot. I mean, that is the larger part of it. But I also, whenever a person is putting something out energy-wise, you have to understand that it's coming from something within him. So it's not so much that he probably doesn't respect you, but he probably lacks a level of respect for himself. In my opinion, it's just a challenging perspective.
That too, but no, I think men are born like that.
Yeah.
Now, if a woman was like, I want to go play the field, and then she's doing something weird. But men, I think innately are born like.
Correct.
I have 2 male dogs.
Do you have a lot? Were you raised around a lot of men?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could tell.
No, but Cookie's right. It's a male nature. She's factually correct. That's just what men do. And at the end of the day, if a man is treating you like that, I'm telling you, this is what I said before. If a man is putting you on the sideline, he's never, I'm just letting y'all know as women.
We used to call those yes girls in college.
He's never going to marry you. He doesn't like you're just there because his real woman is mad at him, and you just I'm saying I'm trying to get
being a
it
yes
off.
woman, being a yes girl.
That's it. See what I'm saying? Because the real woman I want, I'm gonna sit and argue with her. But you, I'm just gonna tell you, I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said to you, it's like, listen, men have a responsibility. I'm not saying that the men don't. I'm not on nobody's side when it comes to this. But the clip, because JR, I'm just going based on the clip. I'm just going what the clip was. That is not a real clip. That's just something a woman said. We should do this clip because women would understand it, because that, as Bo just says, that's the experience of women, right? That's true. I'm not denying a woman's experience, but no man that gets women is saying this to you. He's just not.
It's kind of lame, actually.
I want to see the next clip.
All right, let me go ahead and get into it. It's the last clip, y'all, and then we'll go ahead and get up out of there. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Let me go ahead and run this next clip. Y'all paying attention? Y'all good? Y'all ready? Here we
go. Would you look at that? Shut up. Oh, man. I told you none of us was right. Now look at us. This is why I had to intervene, because you two don't know how to compromise. I'm the one that's been compromising, cooperating, collaborating, coagulating. I'm trying. Buddy over here is the one that's being stubborn. Your ass is going to get us killed with depression with the route that you going. You saw the way this man was looking with the teddy bears and the flowers. I refuse. Yeah, you go bringing up old stuff. You know, this whole time I thought being nonchalant was the safest way for me to start moving. But then I realized I was only hiding who I really was because I was scared. And that's why you came back to the bright side. No. Being a lover boy broke me. It showed me that not every woman deserves to see that side, and I shouldn't be so open to showing it either. So where does the balance come in at? The balance comes in where I actually get to experience being both of y'all and realize that I don't want to be on one side more than the other. Discernment is the only key to this solution at this point. Okay. Where you at? Knowing that I can still be a natural lover, but I don't have to immediately show it because I need to know who I'm dealing with first. You see how I'm always being brought up, right? Can you shut up? Being smart about my feelings is the safest route to take. If I'm talking to a woman and she's not reciprocating the energy that I want in a potential partner, I ain't got to deal with it. You shouldn't have to chase somebody who supposedly wants you back. Love don't work like that. So it's a wrap for the both of us? I wouldn't say that. But I'm taking over. I know what I want in my future, and I don't want to self-sabotage anymore. The manager has spoken. What if you never get what you want? Then I learned to want something different. Life ain't about what we desire, it's who we become in the pursuit of those desires. We grow, we adapt. We gotta find fulfillment in the journey, not the destination. And if that path shifts for any reason, embrace it.
Let's go ahead and get into it. Should men hide their soft side until a woman proves herself? Should men hide their soft side until a woman proves herself? Who would like to go first on this? Go ahead, Angela.
I'll go. I feel like maybe, because I think that women should hide their soft sides until men prove themselves. I think that people should not be vulnerable with just anyone. So I don't think that it should be different for men than women. I think that no one deserves that side of you until they've proven themselves to you.
Go ahead, Angie.
I completely agree when you say that a person should earn a certain level of trust for you to open up about those things. So, and I also think that video was super dope. Like, for me, it was really about him, like, evolving in his maturity. So I think that that was super dope. And that's something that men and women do go through, like Bo just said. Um, but I do think that as you mature and as you get older and you gain wisdom and things like that, like, you understand how to discern certain situations, relationships. And especially because we live in a world that's so fast paced and we always want things instantaneously, it's important to pace yourself and to guard your heart, for sure. But I think that, but the main thing for me is, like, what does that look like for you? Like, a person really has to understand the details of what that looks like for you.
You know, JR, I think a great philosopher once said, these hoes ain't loyal. Shout out to Chris Brown. Fellas, I'm talking to you dudes. You better not ever share nothing with none of these heifers that you have not addressed or dealt with. Let me say it again for the slow motherfuckers in the back. You better not ever share anything with these heifers that you have not already resolved or you dealt with. Because if you do, that first time that you don't take out that goddamn trash when you need to, or when she wants you to, please believe me, that's going to turn into an argument. And then that argument going to get that bullshit you told her that you wasn't ready to share with you, that you know this heifer can't hold water with, is going to be in the streets. And she's going to throw it in your goddamn face. So should men have their soft side until the woman proves us? Yes. Hell yeah. She has to prove she can hold water and share something that you already dealt with mentally and physically and emotionally addressed. Share that with her and see how far that goes. See if she holds it. See next time y'all get into a disagreement. See if she doesn't bring it up or throw it in your goddamn face. If she doesn't, she's a good one. But them other heifers out, they're gonna be glad to let Tanya, and the rest of the little tackhead, chicken head crew to know everything you said. Yeah, he was struggling with. He got daddy issues, and he mad his daddy didn't let him come with him. How he gonna pick him up? He just left him on the couch crying. God damn, bitch! I share this in confidence. Why is your Aunt Malona talking about this bullshit? Why is she telling my business? Why the hell are you telling my goddamn business? So, fellas, please hear my advice. If the shit you ain't dealt with, emotionally, mentally, or physically, don't share it with them. Hold your tongue until she proves herself.
Like I said, what does proving yourself look like?
I just said it, ma'am. Did you not hear me use an example? If you get into a disagreement and she doesn't throw that shit back in your goddamn face, at least she's proving that she can hold water, that she can hold something sacred that you are going through or that you dealt with to herself and doesn't put it back in your face. That's what it looks like, Angie.
I think, first of all, maybe it's my ADHD medicine, but should men hide everything? Should men hide their soft side until a woman proves herself? This is going back to the title of this video. If everybody is doing this, including the women, y'all want us to just so according to Hink, no shade, Hink, you know you my boy. We should be able to take all of whatever it is of him not being soft and still stick around. What if we don't want to be soft because we tired of getting our hearts broken? So my question is, I think this question is subjective to whatever a man's definition of what his soft is. Because I mean, I'm not gonna date a man if he just hardcore and trying to be like, what are you hiding? That's the first thing I'm gonna think. You know, my dad was a Marine at a Marine. I bring him up all the time because he was the man in my life. He was my Superman. And mean as he would pull guns out on people. He treated us like we were supposed to be treated. We got his soft side. So me being a woman, like I'm not messy anyway, so I don't talk about people's personal business. If that's a man's soft side telling you a personal business, I think that should be further down the line. I think when a man is talking about his soft side, I think it's more like the caking, like the gifts and the expensive stuff, the things that men try to do to impress a woman more than it is telling a woman about your trauma. I don't connect trauma with soft. I just don't. I think that's more of the love bombing stuff, you know? You want a little bit of that because I'm a gift buyer. I'm a trinket. I love buying little trinkets, like little cufflinks and stuff. Men don't really think to get themselves sometimes. So me, I'm like, why is this dude is not very kind? He not very soft. I don't think I could spend the rest of my life with him. Bye. You know what I'm saying? So I think you gotta. I think everybody needs to read the room, right? People can only put on up a facade for so long and just try to catch a vibe. Like in the 90s, we didn't have no cell phones. We couldn't have these stupid. I'm not gonna call JR show stupid. But some of the things we say on here are weird. He's literally asking us, relationships are easy. We're the ones ruining them. And this is like, should men wait to their to talk? Once again, proving his point. Like we are ruining relationships. Can we just like go back to just figuring somebody out? But you got to be able to pick the right kind of female to do that. And that takes discernment, just like women. And instead of grouping all the women into one pot or grouping all the men into one pot, you need to find who fits your puzzle and talk to that person and get to know them before you even go out in a situation where a man could be soft. Why are we outside before we even know a person? Before I go out with a man, I want him to be able to feel like he's comfortable being soft with me. We didn't already been through situations, maybe even a couple of arguments. So I feel like if we simplify dating, get more like 90s style with a little bit of tech, maybe we could just bypass some of this the ones ruining relationships part, you know? Maybe it's my Adderall. I don't know.
All right. Poses the other question: can fear of rejection make people sabotage real love? Go ahead, Naomi. You can respond to either one of the questions, the previous or this one.
So I wanted to respond to the previous question.
Yeah.
And this is, mm, so I'm going to answer it by answering how the majority of men that I know. And without actually, I know the type of woman that I am, and I know the type of work that I've done. But majority of the men that I know do not disclose yourself emotionally and mentally to a woman. If she tests her first to see if she can hold small details. And the reason why is because in the United States, men make up 50% of the population, but they make up 80% of the suicide rate. And that's a real number. And it's that number for a reason. And we can dive into the statistics of what that is for. But in all honesty, a lot of men process things internally because of the fact that it's a reflection of the woman who they chose to be with. And the sad part about it is that in 2025, um, if a man, I can sit here and say, I'm okay with a man crying in front of me, but in real life somewhere, that's not majority of women. Men get shamed a lot for being vulnerable mentally and emotionally, and it's not nice, and it's breaking men. So I would actually tell men to not disclose themselves to a woman to that level. because of the fact that you don't know. But I'd also tell women, don't disclose yourself to a certain level to a man either, because just like men should protect their minds, women should protect our hearts. And it's because it's different. It's supposed to be the same, but because we're made differently, it's going to look different. And we can sit here and try to be like, it's going to be all the same everywhere, but it won't.
I don't think
That's.
it's,
Can I
it's
please, before I forget?
go
I
ahead.
feel my medicine wearing off. Can we please get a like what are we defining soft as? And when we're building relationships, why are we talking about trauma?
No, I'm talking about mental and emotional being. Are you talking about soft, like in what he provide, like what he buys her?
No, just a softness to him, like to handle a woman. I thought that's like
Like
that. That's where I'm simplifying it. Mind you, I am
what?
older, 40. I'm an
So
80. I'm a living millennial. When I think
I'm
of
not,
a
I'm not
man being
talking about
soft with
trauma.
a woman,
I'm
it's
not
it's
talking about trauma either. I'm talking about even life situations as he's evolving. Like if he's facing something, I'm not talking about trauma. I'm talking about real life choices. Go to another man. Don't talk don't talk to your woman. She won't understand it. We won't ever understand a man's mindset.
so
We can have we
I
can
think
have a we can have
we have different definitions of what a soft side is for a man. That's all that
I
this is.
okay.
That's all.
And why
Okay.
don't y'all ask a man? Bo, is this
That's what I
what you
just
talking
said.
about?
Can we ask the
Somebody
men?
speaking of
Did
a
I
man
not just say
experience? Is
that?
that what you, Bo? Is that what you talking about? Women's. Remember you said, Bo, men need to stop speaking about women experience, right? So is these women speaking about men experience? What Cookie said?
I just asked
So
Jr. if we could.
it's a difference
No,
between
it ain't no
speaking
goddamn.
on
Now you trying to cake
no,
for. So it is a difference. I got
what
you.
I
I
mean
got you.
is
No, you said it ain't no difference. I got you.
I didn't
But that's
say
a lie.
that. I
So Cookie, to
said,
Hold on,
answer
y'all.
your question.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on,
how
because
you
y'all.
ask me a question, I can't answer it.
The first thing I said is
That's
I
not
said,
right.
Jr. Can we get the men to answer what being soft is? That's the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Okay,
Yeah, she
I'm
did.
gonna be obliged. I'm gonna answer you then, if JL don't mind. Let me say that. You
Go
mind
ahead.
if I answer JL?
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
me buying something, it's not soft for a man. That's not soft for a man. I mean, us buying something, that don't mean shit to us. But if a man being soft is him sharing his feelings, what he's going through, his day to day, his ups, his downs, and his bads, his goods, that's a soft side of a man. Not buying gifts or nothing like that. That don't mean shit.
Okay, who's next?
if we're defining soft by like buying shit, doing sweet things,
No, that's
being
not what I
romantic,
was trying to
I'm not
do.
I'm not doing I'm just answering the question now.
Yeah.
I'm doing both. If we're talking about being romantic as far as being soft, I don't think that a man should necessarily hide that from a woman he has a romantic interest in, because those are the things that you do when you have that type of interest in someone. Now, if we're talking about being vulnerable,
Right.
I don't think that a man should be vulnerable with anyone, especially a woman that's not his mother. I tend to tell men, treat your emotions like women with women like they're the police. Anything you can say will be used against you in a court of law, and that court of law is going to be their emotions, because at some point, like biologically, women want to see like their man. They'd rather see him die on his horse than see him fall off. If you guys see your boyfriend get beat up, that's him being vulnerable to the fact that he's got to protect you, and he loses out. You look at that man different. If a man tells you like the hey, he was touched as a kid or whatever his issue is, there's always a scenario where that shit comes back up to him. And let me not say always, oftentimes there's a scenario where that comes back up to him. So I don't feel that any man would be wise to just be vulnerable with a woman that that has not proven to him that she's trustworthy, that she can safeguard those secrets, and that she also respects him. Because a lot of the times in these conversations, when this stuff gets thrown back up in women's faces, it's because they don't respect the man anymore. They're fighting. Oh, now, okay, yeah, that's why your daddy touched you when you was a little kid, or that's why you ain't never had a girlfriend before me. Like all that type. When y'all get mad, that's what happens. So I don't think that any man should be vulnerable with a woman that he will also at some point be subject or can, like I'm saying, suffer from her judging him for it. So absolutely not.
So can we agree that I saw the question as soft
Yep.
versus other people seeing it as vulnerable?
Yep.
Okay.
That's why I answered both, because
Thank you. Because
I
I'm
was
like,
thinking
what are
the
we
same
talking
thing.
about?
I was thinking the same thing when it came up, because you can't be hard trying to date somebody. I can't be out with my girl and be like, "Nah, bitch, we not finna do that." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. You have to treat her. I treat her differently than I would like with my boys. Like, that's you. I have to be softer with her because I'm not. You know, I'm trying to get her to be soft with her. You know, I mean, if that
Right.
makes sense. But
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I answered both of the questions for whoever, however they took it.
Okay. Because I thought I'm like, I'm not losing my mind now.
Go ahead, Angie. I know you're trying to get in there.
I don't have nothing to say right now.
Okay. All right.
I got something to add to it there real quick. I mean, Cookie, do you want to change your stance on it now that you have more context?
No, soft is soft, vulnerable is vulnerable.
No,
Those
but I'm
two
saying
totally
like
different.
yeah, but we got your opinion on the soft point. I just want to get your opinion on the vulnerable point. Should that man be vulnerable right away, or should he wait?
No. You know what? You know how my dad passed away? My dad had COPD since 2018. We didn't know till he went to the hospital in
Right.
2022.
Mhm.
No. My dad didn't
Gotcha.
even tell his daughters he was sick. No. He didn't tell my
Right.
mom
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like
to
it's
answer the
like a
question,
possum
yeah,
telling you, oh, by the way, my leg is hurting. And they gonna push you to the back of the pack. No, men shouldn't do that. I got big
yeah,
brothers.
yeah.
No.
No, for
No.
sure. No, 100%. Like even in the animal kingdom, if you have an injury, any smart animal will go in hiding because you're just food. But um, I don't think a man should be vulnerable or soft, whatever you want to use. Initially, I don't think men naturally are like that. To be honest,
No.
when they
Men
meet a
are
woman,
secretive,
I
but
don't
y'all are
think, yeah,
strategic.
yeah,
Let me get to the next
correct.
question.
Because we'll wait it out.
Can fear of rejection make people sabotage real love?
Fear of rejection, yeah, 100%. Facts. Um, 100%. I think rejection, but I think men mastered that. I would say that. I think men mastered rejection to where it's still a fear, but um, how do I phrase this? When you overcome a fear, there's a certain level of power that you gain with it. Because so men are still fearful of rejection, but because we've been through rejection so much that we've mastered the um, the benefits of overcoming that fear, if that makes sense. So, um, but I do agree. I would say yes, fear does contribute to that. Yeah.
All right.
So yes, we we absolutely sabotage any potential romantic partnership because rejection is a real thing. And by the time you get to my age, it's not that men are not interested. It's not that they don't want to talk to you. It's that they're not even sure if they should. I've had quite a few men tell me after the fact that they wasn't sure because you're never sure. Like men don't want to walk up to you in the gym because women have said don't come up to me. Men just don't want to approach you at all whatsoever while you're shopping, while you're wherever because of what they how they have been treated when they tried to talk to women. And so it can absolutely sabotage the start of relationships. It can sabotage the start of marriages because people are scared after a point. They're gun shy. They don't really want to take that chance, so they just don't. So I mean, yeah, fear is paralyzing to a lot of people in general, but men especially.
I have high self esteem. I don't have this issue, but I do have some friends that do. And it's very sad. Because like it's just a no. You know what I'm saying? Like rejection is just a no. It's be okay with being no. And like I tell you, I recommend everybody go get a former athlete because athletes take no very well. But I mean, I got a homegirl that she just in fear of dating right now. She ain't even trying because she just got a heartbreak hotel. I'm like, girl, listen, I can't. Like Cat Williams said, it's called self-esteem, bitch. I can't give it to you. I can't give it to you. I can try to give you some of my aura, but I can't make you confident about who you are. So that part. Men, on the other hand, I can't speak for men. I've had some of the weirdest, tallest, shortest men come up to me. I think all in all, in nature, men, if they see it, they want it, they buy it, they own it. They gonna come holler at you. Whether they do it, find a sneaky way where if they do get rejected, don't nobody see it because see people will forget I had brothers, or they try to get your number and play it off. But I mean, men will be like, bitch, whatever. I mean, I've got brothers. I mean, men ain't just sitting around sulking about being rejected, as far as I know. And if he is, he might want to seek therapy. That might be deep rooted child trauma.
Hey, Cookie, I appreciate the little flip reference in your response, but I don't think that the fear of rejection makes. I think I don't have the same stance for men and women. I think that it
Right.
will for women. I don't think that it does it men because a guy won't even take a chance to get there because he doesn't want to be rejected. But
Ah,
what I see is that a lot of women want to be the ones who do rejection first. So what happens is when they feel rejection coming from a man, they do what it takes. They reject him first. For example, look at these pop the balloon shows. Anytime a guy comes
oh
out
yeah,
there
they like.
and says, "Well, I like a woman who does this, this, and this," like the last one where a guy says, "I want a woman who's not promiscuous," or like, "What do you value?" Two girls popped, and then when they were defending themselves, they're like, "Well, I'm not promiscuous," all the other shit, right? I see that
No, you
happening
just
more.
didn't want to talk,
Yeah,
sis.
exactly. I see that happening more than anything else. I don't think that a woman will do that, but I don't think a guy can because when we run from a rejection, we do it because like we just don't want to walk up to you in front of your friends. Like how many guys will walk up to a bunch of pretty now again, I'm not no judgment on being pretty or not pretty, but it's harder to walk up to a group of pretty women and approach one of
Hmm.
them in the group than it is to walk up to a pretty girl surrounded by a bunch of not pretty women.
Ducks.
Yeah, right. So
It's okay.
and so as far as because of what happened with that rejection, we don't care what the ugly girls say. Like I'm saying, we're not worried. But if we walk up to a woman and she's with a bunch of pretty friends, and all the pretty friends are gonna talk about like, girl, well, no, he ain't but 6 foot. Like all that rejection, we get shamed based on because of how we are. So a lot of guys have to worry about that. And it's a real fight. The majority of men aren't ever going to be in the position where they can assume that when they go talk to a woman, she's going to be interested in them. And that's just how life goes. I don't feel bad for the other side. I don't feel good for for the side where they benefit from it. But either way, it's just how it is.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something real quick, and then I'm gonna let everybody else talk. I'll be done for the day. Women will give you signals. I think if you pay attention to a woman, we don't like to make eye contact like that out in public, especially around strangers. There's subtle things that women do. She might walk by a couple of extra reps a couple of times, make eye contact. Might not be a coconut smile, but it'll definitely be like a little smirk. I think people just need to start going back to the art of reading like body language because once upon a time, a dude you could be at the club, no phones, and you be sitting at a table and it's a group of chicks over there, and he be like, "Yeah, I'm going to get those digits." And now it's just like I can't. I don't want to get like what? I don't get it. Sorry. I
Yeah,
think
the
we
the
wimping
signal
out.
stuff is harder now. No, but the signal stuff, it's not. Women are giving signals with a screw face, so it's hard to know. You see what I'm
Stop.
saying? Like
Don't go after nobody with
even
a
if
screw
they're
face.
I don't. That's what we're saying. Men don't do it. Men don't even approach no more. Like the other day, I was somewhere, and for whatever reason, they're like, "Oh, we were trying to get you to come and participate in our dance thing, but we were trying to get your attention." I said, "How are you getting my attention?" She goes, "Well, we were just there. You didn't see us just standing there. Like you should have came over." I said, "Bro, I'm not talking to no woman of this generation. You guys are crazy."
Because next thing you know, I walk over
Ladies.
there and y'all say something else. I'm not going over there. I just
So
mind my
ladies in
business.
the
Honestly,
chat.
when I go out, I just mind my business.
Right. So ladies in the chat, let's try to work on bringing back signals. If you see a dude that's cute, make sure you walk by close enough where he can smell you. Something like we need to do better.
Man, just compliment the man. All you got to do is just say you like anything that nigga got on, and that's gonna make his whole day. Men don't
That's
get
true too.
complimented.
Nah, just smile.
And
No,
that wouldn't
honestly,
even be
fix your face.
fast.
No, well, yeah,
Fix your face.
yeah, the rest
Fix
in
your
bitch face
face. Fix
is
your
contagious.
face.
That's true. But
It's the
I
again,
got a
face. It's
question
the
though about that fix your face.
Cause look at me.
Because the thing is
I look mad
that
all the time.
okay, a woman walking around literally smiling all day. If a woman just walked up to you just smile, that looks crazy. Like I'm just gonna walk like that stuff. You have, as men, the way you try to control how we present ourselves, it is literally just a look on my face. Ain't nothing got to be wrong. I be here. Y'all see me over here. I do make faces, don't get me wrong. But if I'm just over here sitting, I'm just sitting and looking. I'm listening. And a man will walk straight up to you and be like, it's not that bad. Well, it is now because you didn't say something to me. Why don't you just say you look nice today? That will bring out a smile in a woman. Why don't you just say, I like your outfit. I like it. That's gonna
Hey
make me
man,
smile.
listen. Sis, if I look up and he cute, I'm gonna be like, oh,
Cheesing. Let me tell you something.
you
I
know
will
what?
bat my eyes so quick, but
That
that it
part.
ain't that bad. Or you walking around over analyzing the way someone looks.
but it's not really
That's
over
crazy.
analyzing. Because, for example, right, if we
but
were out
Bo.
and you look like you didn't feel like being bothered as was presented by your face, a man would be wise to leave you alone. Like, for example, your face right now. If you were out, if a dude walked up to you and tried to talk to you, he's not reading the room. He's not reading your face. He's not reading your body language. That you're not showing any type of choosing signals. So when he says fix your face, just don't act like you're having the worst day of your life. A lot of times, a woman will just be in her thoughts, right? But her face says her cat just died, her husband cheated on her with a man, and her daddy got cancer. We don't know what you got going on, but your
Well, why
face
don't you
tells us,
ask?
like, hey, because again, not trying to be funny, but if you having a bad day, which your face is telling us you have a bad day, do you want to be talked to? Because we don't. When our face look like yours, we don't want to be fucked with either.
But I just gave you
Yeah,
a
when
way
they
to
get like
disarm a
this,
woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a way to disarm a woman. If you're interested and you think her face says she's having a bad day, the only thing you have to do is say, hey, you good?
Well,
You
that
look real
happens.
pretty today. And then that woman she'll either be like, no, I'm not good, or she will smile from ear to ear because you
you
just
ain't even gotta
disarmed
tell me I
her.
look good
But
if
the
you
other
cute.
side is the more likely side is you'll get cussed out. The more
I
likely
don't
side
know
is,
why y'all, it's literally women on this. Am I lying?
and you
No,
have
no, you're
men,
Women.
not. You're
Am
not.
you have
I lying?
men telling you
It's
what their
women
experiences
Yeah,
telling
are
you
right
the
now.
things, and you would
yeah,
rather
you lying.
mansplain it than
No, I'm
listen
not.
to a
I'm not
woman.
mansplaining anything. I'm
No,
giving
Crazy.
you
you
But
lying,
man's
Bo.
Bo,
perspective.
You, you
hold on,
lying.
I'm
Bo.
lying.
You just
Ask the men
said,
on the
but
panel.
one second, Willie. One second, Willie. Bo just said that we can't tell women their experiences. Yet she's saying that we are inaccurate with our experiences. We're telling you
No,
what our experiences
Straight
are.
like
I'm not
I know
telling
Bo
you
ain't
that
doing
you're
that. I know Bo
inaccurate.
ain't
I'm
doing
Bo,
that, is
telling
she?
you that
Bo
from
would
a
never.
woman's perspective, this is what we would rather you do. I'm not telling you what you're experiencing. I'm telling you what a woman
You just
experiences
you just
and
did
We've
that
what
done
though.
you
it.
could do.
We've done it. We've done it. We've opened
Okay, go
doors.
ahead.
We've
Hold on,
opened doors. We've tried to pump a woman's gas. We've said good morning. I don't say good morning no more, but we'd say hi, and the woman be like, "I don't need your hi," or "I got my own door. I'm good." Why these dudes always trying to talk to me like, I hate, like, this is what we get.
Hey,
And
he's right
to
Do
because
be
you
look,
date
mindful,
younger?
straight like that, he's right. If a dude like
of
straight
course
like
I
that
date
comes to
younger.
you,
I'm a man. I always date young.
Oh, that's
right
you
on.
gonna be
So
out of
straight
you.
like
You
that,
ain't
I
gonna
don't
be
know
out of the
about that straight
woods
like
till
that.
you about
You
49,
sound a little
bruh.
creepy with that one. You
Yeah,
sound a
you
little
lost me
creepy,
there,
bro.
G. I can't hold you. I
Yeah,
can't. I
yeah.
can't keep it
Let
down.
me go and get you up out of this situation. If he look like like straight that, like that, he walk up, he walk You up to started to you, unload on us, didn't straight like that, gonna get turned down, get rejected. Eve, get away from you, creepy. But a man like he woke up, you gonna smile like Cookie said. She's like a chest of cat. Like, oh.
What's your name?
Oh,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So now it's going to determine on what you're dealing with. Straight like that, you know, with your big dog.
Well, I'm gonna be.
No, when I say I date younger, I'm saying I date younger than my age. Like I date younger than my age. I don't date no woman my age.
How old are you?
39.
You gotta reach. You gonna have to find you somebody over 40 if you want somebody to be polite, bruh. Because if you hopping in them 33s, 35s, them little girls down there.
I
They
pull
different.
39s and 40s all day long.
How old
And
are
I
you?
don't know
I'm
why.
sorry. How are you? Are you young, Angela?
How many? How
I
many,
can't
Bo?
hear her. She
How
said
many you
she's
be pulling?
34. She mature though.
A lot.
Hey,
But think about your peers, Angela. Let's be for real.
I'm
Yeah.
also a fan of cougars, so I can understand like being 44 and dealing with a 39-year-old. Like I get it. I prefer older women. I have since I was younger. Even when I was young, I liked older women. So I don't have it. I don't see it. I don't find it hard to believe that a 44-year-old woman is getting 39s. But as a man, though, to me, I think this is where I'm probably going to disagree with most dudes. Dealing with younger women is stressful.
That's what I was just telling him.
I don't. I'm not saying it's stressful. It's just like for where I am in life, I've accomplished so much that I'm not trying to have to teach somebody how to do adulting or do adult
Not
things.
to wear lashes to the gala.
Yeah, or for example, knowing the difference between a dress and a gown and when each is appropriate. There's just certain things that come with age. But I can also understand and acknowledge that some of the other things that come with dealing with older women is, more time, more dating experience, more time exposed to trauma, the miles of, you get it.
But what about the older women that are stuck in their ways? Like you can't change them. So
now I won't date a young-minded woman. I don't give a fuck how old she is.
Yeah, but you can't change. You can't change anyone. They have to want to. Changes happen overnight. So even if they're young, old, it's going to be difficult for somebody. Even if you express, I don't like this, it's a possibility they may still do it. But I forgot he said he don't like this or she don't like this. Change is difficult for anyone if they've been doing it for so many years.
You can make people want to change, and you can inspire them to. Like to Bo's point earlier, a woman can make a man want to change by being someone that he thinks, hey, I got to be better for this woman. This woman makes me want to do more. She makes me want to achieve more. But she's not going to go out there and make him do any of that. He has to want to. She can just be the inspiration of it. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Speaking on this,
I agree with Bo.
Hold on, y'all. Speaking on this topic, rejection too. I don't know if you guys spoke on it or not because I had to make me a cup of coffee. But there's some experiences I have is that how women will be in a relationship or dating someone seriously, and when things are going too good, it seems too good to be true, and so they'll try to beat you to the punch to reject their relationship. They'll self-sabotage it because they don't want to be caught off guard, so they rather get ahead of it. So I've actually seen this, and it can be pulled for so many things, especially with the internet going on. You have a lot of women who are consuming a lot of these things on the internet. And so now when you date people, especially if you date people that do watch podcasts, it's a different type of dating because now they've consumed all of these things and they're looking for it. You can hear them using the same rhetoric, the same way how women say they hear men use the same rhetoric. But it's a difference when you speak with someone who is outside, who's living in reality versus not knowing how to decipher what's real and what's not real when it comes to the internet. But I do see people when things are going too good, especially old in age, like 34, 35, 40, 40 plus, when things are going too good, they say something's wrong. Something got to be wrong. And so if they can't find anything, then they create a situation, or they'll pick the smallest thing that doesn't make any logical sense, but it makes sense to them in order for them to be able to create an out for themselves.
Ain't that schizophrenia?
No, that's not schizophrenia.
It's stupid.
It sounds like he said made some shit up and like what? Get out your head, sis.
No, but on some real stuff, like a lot
I feel you though, JR.
I'm sorry.
They're a bunch
sad.
of symbols, man. They're a bunch of symbols, man. They act just like symbols.
You say, Angie?
I think that rejection scares anybody, and rejection can deter anybody, but you have to keep in mind like a level of resilience in terms of like none of us will be successful in the things that we are if we did not face fear consistently, you know, and whether that's an idea or something physically, like I do understand that we have to leverage our understanding of rejection, but also you can't say, oh, because the rhetoric or you hear all of these things about how women in their 20s are, that every woman that you meet in their 20s is going to respond that way. Like, you're never going to be able to get the type of woman that you want if you just are not brave or have the confidence enough to sometimes discern, allow those rejections to help you to discern situations differently. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow them to be learning experiences, not something to make you stop doing something completely. Like, adjust yourself. I think that comes with a certain level of maturity and intelligence. Anybody is going to be afraid of rejection. That's just not a male thing. But you can see, like, what's your name? Straight like that. I think that your situations, I think that you're looking at them the wrong way. Honestly, you're making it seem as if everybody that you've been a gentleman towards has met you with rejection. And if that is the case, maybe you should kind of like use, like I said, use those situations as learning experiences and maybe do those things for a different type of woman.
No, I agree. And it's not every woman. So I'm just saying like the culture is, and I'll say this, I'll give you two examples. I think the culture makes men to be liars. Like I always speak on that. I think men lie to women. So when women tell me that men play with their feelings or men are not upfront with their true intentions, I agree with that because men lie, like facts. So when a woman tells me her experiences with men in general, I look at it and I say that's a true statement because men do lie. But as a man, um, out in the world, I mean, like I said, I gave you one example, but the other day I was at a grocery store and I'm from the islands, so it's in our custom to just say, good morning. Just generally, if somebody walks past me, I'm just gonna say good morning. Just acknowledge you. And she was like, "Oh, don't talk to me. Like, I already got a man." I was like, "I don't care. I'm just saying good morning because you passed." Granted, that could be a one-off.
That woman ain't never had nothing nice in her life. Is she miserable? Because good morning, sis. Like, what are we doing? I don't know about that one.
Well,
I need
he's
another
not too far
example.
off because I could take him some times when I open a door for a woman and the
Maybe
heifer
I'm
don't even
too
say thank you.
friendly.
That's why
She
you
don't
got a
say
tripper,
shit.
Hank. You got a tripper when she don't say
Oh,
thank you.
let me tell you. I could tell you what I did one time. I put my arm around her on her elbow and pulled her right back at her. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
As you should.
No, that's not what we doing. You welcome, and then let her walk back in. But no, I
I
mean, you
feel like
got a
if
lot of women
everybody
do that.
just
They act
were
like they can't
kind
acknowledge you at all.
humans.
I mean, at least a head nod or smile or throw your hand up, wave and say thank you or something. You got a lot of people are just like that, just nasty. Now,
It's
speak on
nice
the
to be nice.
rejection
It's
part.
nice to be nice,
So
Hank.
speak on the rejection part. I mean, you act like I'm not even talking to something. God damn. So to speak on the rejection part, men can handle rejection. Men of a certain age can handle rejection. We've been doing it for so long. We used to rejection. Now, women have a problem with rejection. You tell a woman no, see how she act. Watch her. She gonna act like a spoiled 10-year-old little child. Oh, why can't I do this? Why can't we do this? Why can't I have this? Why can't you get this? Because I said no. We don't need it right now. We don't need to have it. Or why do you need this? That's how a lot of women act, like a spoiled 10-year-old child. And they just go having a fit, the face be turned up, they cross their arms, all mad, huffing and puffing. But 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 dudes, shit, that's nothing to us. All right, well, go on. Good luck with whoever you gonna deal with. You ain't got me. And I keep on moving to the next one and move on to the next one. Now this is back in the days. Now I ain't doing that no more. I'm married, so I'm good. But back in the days, I think Will, you gave an example, a table full of pretty women. I would have tried every last one at that goddamn table. I'm so confident. I didn't give a shit.
Right.
And I go with whichever one would say yes. You say yes, let's get on this dance floor. Let's have fun. Let's go get a drink of water because I don't drink alcohol. Let's go. We good.
But Hank, it's very clear that you love yourself though. Like you love you some Hank. Everybody not built like that, Hank. That's what I'm starting to realize. Does that make
Sometimes it's like that.
sense?
Right
No, it
on.
does. It does. Yeah, it does. And most of the dudes, to be honest with you, most of the guys in our generation, I will agree. When women tell me like most of the men are becoming more feminine, I agree with them because y'all allow a lot of guys to play that gay best friend role. So they confused. So a lot of dudes in our generation, yeah, a lot of girls are friends with dudes that are on the fence. So I blame y'all for that distortion. Because a lot of dudes in not my generation, but I'm talking
This
about the
just went
generation
left. What
coming
are we
up.
talking about?
It went left, but
Yeah, it did.
I'm just speaking on Hint's point. Yeah, it did. It did go left.
I just heard the G word. I'm like, what
No, but I was speaking to Hink's point. Why guys? So why some men don't
Man,
approach?
hey,
To his
don't
point.
speak on Hink's point and gay at the same time. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, man. That's not good, though.
I was on your side though. I was on your side, but
Straight, what you sipping on over
okay.
there?
Right. He went off on a tangent.
It's just lemonade. It's just lemonade. It's just lemonade. It's just
I was
lemonade.
like, wait a minute, huh? We talking about confidence.
I want to circle the question back around. Speak coming from a perspective of a woman who has had the life experience of people being like, "Are you okay?" or smile, because I kind of have that type of face. I learned that some people like the curves or the turn ups or turn downs. The way people's faces are shaped tend to communicate differently, just depending on how their face is when it's resting. So people interpret to be something else, but that's just how a person's face is, right? Now, me taking accountability, I do try to be more mindful and aware. So I try to smile more, especially because I'm in the industry where, I'm constantly in front of people. But at the same time, going to Bo's point, that I would prefer for somebody to ask me, oh, will compliment me instead of telling me, oh, smile, or what's wrong with you. Like, if you're a man and you're looking to get my attention, I would expect you to like come with a more positive and uplifting comment versus something like, are you okay? Or what's wrong with you? Or something, just assuming something negative. And Willie said it, like a lot of women, when you're focusing on something and when you're just thinking, like, that's just your face. And if you know that, then act accordingly.
I feel like if I'm out and a man is concerned enough to come ask me if I'm okay, there's real concern. Cause I'm probably then zoned out into a whole nother ADHD moment. He's walking over to be like, "Are you drugged, sis? Are you okay?"
Hey, that's rare though. That's
You know what I'm
super
saying? And
rare.
I'll be like, "Oh no, I'm straight. I don't need no compliment after that. I just don't. I don't know. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to say anything about what you would expect. I'm just saying, me personally, I would not. Just him coming over to see if I'm okay, looking all mad. I know I look mad sometimes because I just be like,
Or just being discouraged. Like, if you're discouraged simply because a woman's face is not smiling, is what I'm more so speaking to. Like, like Bo said, we're not going to walk around. And what I also say to people is, I'm not going to be smiling the whole 8 hours I'm a bar. I'm thinking about doing 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other different things. So my face is not because I'm angry or I'm upset. It's because I'm multitasking. And
can
when
I give
you
you
know
some advice as an older woman? Well,
no,
not too much older. You're pretty. If a man come up and ask you what's wrong, he's trying to get in your face.
I know, but what I'm saying is that if you want it to be more receptive with me and other women, what Bo was saying was say something like, "Oh, you look pretty today," instead of, "Oh, you look mad."
Right.
I'm not mad. I'm working.
But
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Cookie,
speaking to a specific
Cookie,
type
did you
of
hear what
person.
she said though? You
I'm not
asked her, "Can
talking.
I give you advice?" Oh, go ahead, go ahead, Angie. My bad.
You being nice
No,
today.
I understand. I mean, I gave it, I understand. Like
No, she
somebody
said
asking me what's wrong
you
with
asked
you is
her.
something.
But Cookie, you asked her, can I give you advice? And she said no.
Oh, I didn't hear
I mean,
her.
goddamn, I see why a
nothing.
man think you nasty. I would think you
also,
nasty too.
To be honest with you, I think that I do think that pretty women sometimes we do need to look mean to discourage men like you and the like. To be honest, because we don't want certain men approaching us and asking us how we're doing and getting in our face. We want to shoot off the guys that should not be around.
So y'all can't get mad when somebody call y'all the angry black women. This is what y'all sitting there proving that stereotype right. What y'all doing right now?
Saying y'all.
Proving it right. Majority of y'all. Say what you want, Cookie, but majority of y'all angry black women and y'all proving that scenario and that rhetoric and that bullshit. Y'all are proving it by don't say shit to me. Let me be mad, face it. Don't ask me no questions. Don't. You know why we got offset it? We got to compliment you. Man, you may not be worthy enough to compliment.
If a man bases his attraction off of a woman's body, that could be an issue. But now if we base it off of how we're perceiving her face to be, it's also an issue. I think that it's kind of hard for men for women, not hard, but just inefficient for women to think that men are not going to treat your face like your billboard. Your face is where you advertise everything that we can know about you without knowing you. Like if someone knows you, they know that if your shoulders, are up, you're probably happy. If you're sitting up straight, whatever, or if you're staring off in space, that you're just zoned out. But a stranger, he's going to have a baseline information of women to know that if a woman has a nigga fuck you face right now, don't talk to her. Or if she's frowned up, scrounched, and her eyebrows are touching, not because she drew them like that, but just because she's frowning there hard, like we gonna automatically assume something is wrong with y'all. So like, those same choosing signals that y'all say y'all know to give, your face will negate all of that. You playing in your hair.
You're a little tipsy.
Wait. Whoa, I don't know. I don't fuck with drunk bitches at all. So that's a no for me.
Not drunk.
Drink, or if you're drinking or whatever. I don't fuck with none of that. But and we understand like you choose, like playing with your hair is a choosing signal for women, right? You're saying a woman is looking at you, making a lot of eye contact. Like we understand what they are. But if you playing in your hair and your face looks like, nigga, get the fuck away from me. Even though we've made eye contact a few times, our average guy is gonna be like, you know what? No, I don't know. I'm confused, and they just gonna choose not to out of safety. Out of safety, because now what happens if Angela, a guy comes to talk to you, and you got that resting bitch face on? It's another dude that may see her. He might try to come, saying play Captain Save a Hoe, not calling you a hoe, but just in the scenario. He may come over and be like, bro, you see her face, you don't want to be bothered. The whole time you really did want to be bothered. So it's like your face can say two different things to like your same face can say the same thing to two different people. And we can't expect for men to just think like, well, damn, just because she's mad or her forehead got the pie sign in it, that she's having a bad day, or that she really wants me to talk to her because, whatever. It's just not realistic. It's not a realistic expectation to think that men are going to look at it that way.
Okay, y'all might be missing y'all wife if you're not married already, because she might have a resting bitch face. I'm gonna tell you something about women. The women that's walking around cheesing always happy, they got a motive. When they're out like that, like in a scene where people are trying to holler at each other, and she just like, yeah, the life of the. Is that really who y'all want?
Oh no,
those y'all want the quiet one in the
those
corner.
are the flat purses because they nice getting paid for by niggas just trying to talk to them. The ones that's happy the entire time because they're not coming out of pocket. So, but those aren't the women who, I'm saying, we're talking about. We're talking about, like, for example, the Bows. Bo just said when she's talking or when her face is out, she could just be thinking about it. It doesn't mean that she's mad. We're not talking about the bitches that are already happy and we're saying happy go lucky and A and yes and all fucking night. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the women we see in environments where y'all are just a coffee shop, eating somewhere by yourself, and we just see your face. If a guy wants to come talk to you and you have that leave me the fuck alone face, it would be smart for him to leave you the fuck alone. Like that's just what we do.
What I'm saying is y'all might be missing a wife or a partner because you're being presumptive.
Well, I mean, a woman could, so we could say the same thing for women. Y'all are missing husbands by not having your face together.
See y'all.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Most of the time we don't see y'all. Women are dingbats, right?
I'm not gonna say all. I understand what you're saying.
Women are dingy. We are a little spacey.
Hey, you said it, not me, but I understand.
No, I can admit my faults. So when I'm like at the club and I'm like looking at the lights.
Yes, y'all are. Yes, I
agree. Please come talk to me and be like, Cookie, you good? Like, say something. Nah, I ain't tripping. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm fine. You good? I'm sorry. Did I look weird? I'm gonna ask you.
Even
But
if
I
it's a
guess
50,
everybody not like me though.
even if it's a 50-50 chance that it'll be like a bow and she'll be happy, she just, you know what I'm saying, her face wasn't together. Or then it could be the Angela who's trying to like shoo a hink away in her words, right? It's a 50-50 chance. So dudes got to pick which side they want to be on. And unfortunately, we've already explained to you that most men are going to err on the side of caution.
So do you
Yo,
feel
Willie,
like that's a problem though?
I think it's
do
a
I
you
know for a
problem.
see?
fact if Hink was single, he
Mhm.
would holler at every sound. That wouldn't bother him. So is this like generational?
No, I think it's just a problem for some men that a lot of men aren't in a position where they can walk up and approach women with confidence.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, like
Okay.
Hink
Yeah,
is
I won't take it any
Hink is
further.
not a regular man. Like Hink is not a regular guy. Like he has a confidence to do that. But Willie, do you see how much hoops, how many like guessing you got to do to just like
I
they're
mean,
proving it right now. Like how
it's
much guessing you have to do just to say how you doing?
You don't have to have guessing, baby. You have to have personality and confidence. You don't have to do a lot of stuff. Like just
That comes after the introduction, Angela. That comes after the introduction. In order for you to know who I am or to have a conversation with me, I have to say hi.
yes.
How are you?
I don't think this hoops, bro. I think that it's just risk management at this
Jeez
point.
Louise.
A guy has to figure out how to minimize his risk. And when it comes to
Well,
figuring out
it's a
how to
lot of hoops because I
uh,
can see a girl that I
hold
like
on.
and I
I'll
gotta,
let you.
you know.
Hold on. So you got to figure out how to manage your risk. And this is the thing, right? I think that one of the things that men can do to minimize their risk when talking to women or being able to cold approach, one would be having a background in sales, because then you know how to close and you know what you're saying. Talk to her like her internal value system. But then two, just having your shit together, smelling good, having a good haircut, approaching her with respect. Like all of these things matter. But the fucked up part is the majority of men can't do that because they don't have their shit together. Majority of men don't have a background in sales. And then two, a lot of them just aren't in a position where they can demonstrate value to a woman without them knowing them. The majority of men have to get women and grow on them.
Just like
Like
pull a
they have
stranger.
to, the woman has to experience that guy before she sees value in him. She can see
Right.
All right, so
opportunity.
Willie,
Go ahead.
yeah. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard a woman say, "Man, I had a dude approach me and I didn't have my hair done, my makeup wasn't right, I was smelly, and this dude had the nerve to even walk up to me." Have you ever heard women say that?
So are you asking me, have I ever heard an average woman say that she's had a dude try to talk to her?
When she's not in her best looking self.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Niggas
Okay.
talk to girls all the
So
time.
okay, so my point is even they're not even at their top game and it's still a struggle.
Well, that's the difference.
Even when they're not at their best.
That's not their imperative to be at their best. Their imperative is to be available and then valuable. We have to be the ones that demonstrate our value by our appearance and the things that we come to the table with, like our confidence and the way we speak to them. So I understand where the ladies are coming from, but I also get where you're coming from. And most men look at it that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as far as talking to women and being able to cold approach chicks, bro, you got to have, I hate to say it this way. You just got to be one of them ones. You got to be one of them guys.
No, I understand, but I understand that, but one of them ones that can get them women, then they'll complain that all you do is get women. They'll still complain.
Oh, you're talking about later.
About that.
Okay. No, I mean,
Yeah.
that's that part I can't argue with. You can't get mad at a nigga
Because they'll still say, "Oh, he was charming. He did the right things, girl. He did everything. He smelled good. Boo boo whoopty woo." And then she confused why he got other women. It's like, of course.
I agree with that, but that's after. We're talking about for the initial
All right,
approach.
cool.
I agree with you wholeheartedly though. Afterwards, no argument there.
Straight.
Possibly he has other women because he wants to have other women. Because even men who have
Duh.
access to a bunch of women, like I expect for a man that I want, that I think is very attractive, for other women to want him. It is up to that man to not have those other women, because women are going to approach, women are going to be attracted. But if you don't have the self-control to not keep a harem of women, that's a you thing. Women being attracted to you, that's a them thing.
But are you?
You collecting women, a harem of women, that's a you thing. That's a self-control thing.
Hey,
That
Bo,
is.
are you against roster dating for women?
Say what now?
Are you against women? Are you saying roster dating? Are you saying date multiple men at one time?
I'm not against anyone doing that. I don't do it, but do what you do.
So, but then, so to expect a man to not also have like a roster of women to date you, wouldn't that kind of be disingenuous?
Well, what the part that I'm speaking of is men who perpetually keep a bunch of women, whether they're in a relationship or not. I'm not talking about dating. When you date as many people as you can manage. I can't manage that many people. I can only manage one at a time. That's a me thing. I'm not speaking on other people in that regard. I'm talking about men who try to keep a harem of women, who try to keep people on the roster even when they're in a relationship. That's a you thing.
I know females that do that, sis.
Yeah, I don't think there's. I
No,
think
yeah,
most
I'm not
women know who
saying
got
that.
next.
I'm talking about what he was talking about.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I
no.
think that most women know who they got next though, and I feel like it's just not.
it's a stove for us, not a roster. We back burner, front burner. That's how we do it in Texas, anyway.
That's a little weird when women have multiple men.
Hey, I'm from Texas,
It's a
and
little weird.
I get it, but I think that it's still a roster. You multitasking, you cooking 3-4 things at one
Nah,
time.
no. You
Like,
never. I mean, I don't consider. You most. Well, I ain't gonna speak on that, but I wouldn't
You can
date
speak on it.
more than one
Go
guy at the
ahead.
same time. But you all until you're married, you do have backup plans. He's right about that.
yeah, I said. I mean, we all know that women know who got next. Like, that's not a. I don't think any man is surprised that.
That doesn't mean she's physically involved with him, but
It doesn't mean that she's not either.
no. But that's just how I live my life.
Yeah.
Start asking these questions.
Ask what questions? What question you talking about?
What does dating mean for you? When you dating somebody else, if you like a person and you're interested in taking things a little bit further, spending a little bit more time, spend a little more money, energy, whatever, ask them. When you're dating, like while we're dating to get to know each other, to decide whether we want to be exclusive or not, are you sleeping with other people? Like, I think that.
Hey, I just want to be real honest and just not and
Yes.
fair. Ain't nobody's finna tell you the fucking truth on average. Well, we say the majority of people are not gonna tell you the truth. But the majority of women won't because they don't want to be shamed, and then the majority of men won't because they can't. There's not very many men that can sit here and tell you, yeah, I'm gonna date you, but I'm fucking for the bitches too, and then expect for you
I'm not
to
saying
still be
that.
dealing with that.
I do agree with you when it comes to that, but we don't have to be specific. I'm simply saying, like, you don't have to get in a person's business and be like, how many people you fucking. I just kind of think that you should be able to, when you're dating as an adult and when you're dating with intention, I think that you would at least be able to see if you're in front of somebody. You can't tell if they're lying, but how they're moving. Like, you pay attention to certain things. So as you're being and how they're consistent with you. So as you're continuously doing this and you see they're being more honest and you ask these. I just think that that's just a part of adult dating. Like, unless you just out trying to have fun, you have to know
I agree.
into it for what you're into the situation for, and having like a being able to leverage your tolerance.
So when you
girls just want to have fun.
When you ask
girls just want to have fun.
What was he doing with other women? And he tells you, well, yeah, I'm seeing a couple other women and I'm hitting 2 of them. How's that gonna go? How does that go over with you?
I mean, I'm not gonna sleep with you.
Okay, so that's why he wouldn't say nothing to you. That's what Willie's saying. That's why,
Well, at that point, then you're not on the same page as me, so we don't need to be talking anyway.
Wait
True,
a minute.
and I agree with that.
If you are not disclosing that you are sleeping with other people while you're sleeping with someone,
that's weird.
Because that's weird.
Agreed.
What you do with your body while you're doing something with my body affects my health, and I need to be able to make a decision whether or not I want to engage with you. So you are absolutely going to have to tell me. I don't need to know the ins and outs. I don't need to know how many, but I do need to know that you are sleeping with someone else while you're sleeping with me, because that affects my health. And that is concerning to me.
Agreed. No argument.
This is funny, man.
That no one is asking. On the majority of men are just not being forthcoming with that the same way women aren't. A woman will talk to a guy, and most guys don't even have it in their head to think, well, damn, who else is she doing this with, or how many other guys is she dating? That's just because they're happy to be dating somebody. The majority of guys are just happy to be dating someone because, again, it's not average. It's not common for men to find someone they actually like that, especially when a woman's really pretty, got her shit together. Like, though, it's not for average men. They're hitting a unicorn as far as they're concerned. So they're not going to sit here and tell you, but like, yeah, I'm still hitting the 2 big bitches that I work with because they easy. And when I'm saying I have, my dick been ashy for a couple years, so I start hitting them while they're talking to you, and they're probably still going to hit them until they can hit you. Because then when they hit you, when they start fucking you, the other girls don't matter. So I just don't think we can I don't want it to pass that we're going to sit here and say, man, listen, dudes
Well,
are going
that's
to tell
really
you
that's why I said, Willie, most men are going to have more than one woman. I don't agree with men sleeping around, but it's foolish for women to think that a man's just going to be with just one woman. If a man does do that, it's his choice because he does have the option to have another quality woman if that's his choice. But most men are going to have more than one woman. It doesn't mean he's out here slinging peen all day or he's being a whoremonger. He's just a man, and it's just different. He's not a woman. Women can't do what men can do. So, and I said this, and you guys are getting to that point. I think men lie to women. So we need to be more, as Bo would say, more upfront and honest with what we're doing and our intentions. If we do that, then we're good.
If the men think like a lot of men on this, I need to keep my rested bitch face. And that's why I just
shout out to you.
with you, because I just kind of feel like this whole mindset of wanting to be sneaky. I do understand that it happens. Don't get me wrong. Like, I understand why people hide things because they're fearful of how other people may judge them. But at the end of the day, if you want something for real, like if we're really searching for a healthy connection with somebody, we're going to have to do some things that are uncomfortable. And like she said, like I just keep hearing you guys saying, "Oh, a man is not going to be honest with you." Yeah, a lot of men might not be, but
no, he can't be. Not saying he won't be. Saying he can't be honest.
A man can't be honest because he knows that if he's honest, he might not get his way.
That's why.
And that's okay because somebody else is going to give it to you. It's just not me. So don't, you know what I'm saying? So don't manipulate the situation to where you're like, I'm withholding information so that I can get what I want from you. Because at that point, you're starting a relationship on the wrong leg.
Yeah. No, she's right. I agree.
I can't say she's not right, but what happens is more often than not, people.
And what I'm saying is, let's remove what people do and let's start thinking more so about what we're going to do after we've had this conversation. Are you going to continue to move the same way, or are you going to continue to be manipulative and thinking you're going to get ultimately what you want? You're not.
Well, I don't think anyone is talking about themselves personally.
Are you willing to be honest then? If you're dating, like you said, dating, like y'all talk about dating, multiple people dating, are you going to be honest with and tell that man how many people are those men you're dating? Say 3 or 4 men. Are you going to tell them
if I'm
you're sleeping? Are you not sleeping? Are you going to let me finish the question, man?
Go ahead.
So are you going to tell that man honestly that you've been sleeping with every man that you was dating, or what are you going to tell him? Are you going to be straightforward with him, or what? You going to just bullshit? Say, no, I ain't sleep with none of them, and then you going to tell us that lie expect us to believe it?
If I was sleeping with every man that I was dating, obviously there would be some hesitation. But if I'm dating, if I meet somebody
tomorrow, you're gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not in that situation, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that if
no, it's a scenario. It's not what will happen.
If if I've been seeing somebody for 6 or 7 months, right? And this has been the person that I've been seeing mainly. You know, I might have gone on dates with a couple of other people, but there's nowhere near as much intimacy that I have with this one person. We're just not exclusive. If I meet somebody else that I'm interested in and they ask me if I'm dating somebody else, yes. If I'm sleeping with this person, if we get like, say on the 3rd day, I just kind of feel like, yes, I'm going to tell you, but I just kind of feel like the first date, I probably will say something like, we can talk about that at a later time. Or I might be
omission is the same thing as lying. I got you. Thank you for.
And I also think that if a person tell you, "Oh, we don't want to talk about I don't want to talk about that right now," you already know the answer to that question.
I know, but I just need to give you the opportunity to tell your lie. So thank
It's
you.
not about lying. Also, I feel like, why should a person be ashamed about saying they having sex with a person? Like, why is that a shameful thing?
No, you shouldn't.
Because if you
Admit you a
tell
hoe.
if you
No,
tell your
Willie,
idea,
Willie, let her admit that she's a hoe
I
and
want to
tell
hear
us
what
so we
Willie
can
said.
move accordingly.
well, hold on, I'll let y'all have that conversation. But the reason why you're not because you're not gonna tell your dream nigga, the nigga that you feel like
How
is.
do I know if you're my
Stop.
dream nigga on
This
a
is my
third
point.
date?
But we're not talking about the first date. You are not going to be honest with that man about what your sexual past was
I
out of
disagree with
fear
that.
of judgment and then him disqualifying you.
No.
For example, you could say, "Oh, I'm in love with this man. He's my great guy." But if you done sucked 100 dicks in the past 90 days, you're not gonna tell him that.
Why is people sucking 100 dicks in the last 90 days if I met my dream nigga?
Hey,
Who the fuck is doing that?
Hey, Bella Blue just fucked 1,000 niggas in like 24 hours.
What we
We're
asking.
talking about real women.
Angie, that's what we asking you. Are you doing
Yeah,
that?
we
And
are
you
asking,
gonna be
I'm asking you
honest
about
and tell
real
us?
women being honest.
I'll answer. I'm lying.
Well, thank you for being honest about it.
If I suck
There
90
you are.
dicks, of course I'm. But why are you dealing with women?
Okay, well let's okay.
That's just
But
Okay, well let's put a
I need
realistic.
y'all to understand. I'm a
Hold
lie.
on,
He
hold on,
does
hold
cut
on.
everybody off.
Hold on. So let's just do like a real.
Elaborate on what you need assistance with.
Yeah, okay. Say if you got dudes flying you around the country to smash, right? You got maybe 1 or 2 dudes that take you on trips, you know what I'm saying, just so they can bend you over a hotel balcony. And you come back from one of these trips, freshly blown out, still leaking. And you see a dude at the airport, your type physically, y'all talk, he says everything the right way, he defeats your resting bitch face, he's talking to you, smell good, everything you like about a man, you can see in him already. Are you going to talk to that dude and tell him, like, hey, listen, I know that it's the timing's probably off, but listen, I still got this man's kids leaking out of me right now.
You're being
we can't
weird
talk.
at this point because that's not even a realistic situation. If I meet somebody, listen to what I'm saying. If I meet somebody at the airport that I like, first of all, you don't know if that's your dream nigga. He's not going to ask me. Also, have you fucked anybody in a?
I didn't say he was going to ask you anything. I said, are you going to volunteer the information? Because you know he wants to know that.
Why would I disclose that information? Why would you want to know that and you just met me?
The same way you want a man to disclose he got another bitch pregnant while he's trying to talk to you. That's why. The exact same reason.
With somebody are two
All right.
things. Don't try to
All right, man. How about this? Like that same scenario, right? Let's just say you did go visit and you did whatever you did, and you met somebody in the airport. And he say, "Oh, like where you flying to? Did you go visit? Or are you going to visit your friends or family? Like, what did you do? Are you going to tell them that you went to go visit someone?" Or
ladies lie.
Most women, my friends will tell me to lie. I'm the honest friend.
No, I would
tell the truth.
You would tell him what?
Tell the truth because I don't see anything wrong.
You would tell him what? I would go visit my friend.
I was out of town with somebody that I'm dating. It's as simple as that. I don't understand what the problem is. If you meet a woman that's a catch, it shouldn't be any surprise to you that she may have other good potential men around her. Whether she's fucking them or not, that is a conversation for a later time when you fill each other out. But you being concerned about who I'm sleeping with, now if you should be concerned on if I'm a hoe or not, but you being concerned on if I'm having sex when you first meet me, that's a reflection on you, not on me. That's weird.
Well, I'm gonna say this
as much as our culture talks about sex, as much as we're in a hypersexual culture, you sit up here and telling me somebody having sex with one other person when you're meeting them is a deal breaker. That's weird.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and
it's just awkward, you know.
Where you
coming from? Like we have to be able to be mature and have adult conversations and have adult levels of maturity to be able to deal with certain situations. People are very.
I'm gonna tell you what I see. I'm gonna just say like what I've seen. Like realistically, people may want to know, but they don't ask. And oftentimes it doesn't necessarily come up. Like if a woman doesn't want to be asked that question, then she's probably not going to ask you that question. Also, what I've seen is that if for some reason you guys are having a conversation and he so chooses to ask the question, then I don't believe I've really got a clear answer. And this is from women that were perceived to be good women or women that may have been out there. It's never clear So I think when y'all was having a conversation earlier, when Bo was saying that it was somebody was saying it was a weird thing. I don't think nobody's going to be really honest. I think women already look at certain men to have had sex with a certain amount of people. They've already tallied it up. They probably said it's a lot of bodies. Some women say they want to know the truth, but they really don't want to know the truth. And I don't believe I know any man that's actually told his honest number, to be honest, unless he just had a low count. Any woman that has a low count, she's happy and proud to say that she slept with 3 people. You know, I only slept with 4 people. I can count on my hands. If they're asking you why, you know, I'm surprised you asked me that. It's probably a number that would be perceived to be large. And when I say large, I mean large should be 10, because some women think 10 people is a lot. Some men think 10 bodies is a lot. 20, 30. It all falls into that category of being a lot. So I don't think nobody's really being honest when it comes to having your partners. I don't ask. Have I asked? It probably might have came up if we were just having a conversation, but I don't believe that you're gonna always get the truth. Not saying nobody can't, but typically nobody wants to be asked that question.
If you want to know how many bodies a woman been with, ask her how many bodies is too much for her man to have. That's where that'll give you a good ballpark of where she at. So if she said, "Oh no, yeah, I don't want a nigga been with 50 bitches," she been around 45 to 50 niggas. Like it's not hard. And
that actually works on women. I mean, I'd be like, nigga, I don't care.
There's a lot of women in these spaces that say, I don't want a woman like y'all talking about earlier, man could be in hoes. They don't want a woman that's, you know, a man that's been with a bunch of women. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that girl's only been with.
Ask. That might be your husband. So what he got around?
A man has to ask because the woman that he chooses, her past affects him and will affect his future. It'll affect the way other men look at him.
I'm talking about a woman. Why is a woman asking? We know that y'all be out here doing that.
Well, how come you didn't ask that question when you watched the fucking video? When a girl was, why come you to ask that question? Oh, you didn't see that video. That's why.
I was getting my dog from the bed.
My bad. My bad. I was wrong. Listen, I'm quick to admit I'm wrong, but
yeah. But if the woman gets the opportunity to ask, she will ask. I mean, she still is curious. She may not want to know, but if presented the opportunity, she'll ask.
Yeah, but JR, if a woman asks how much a woman, if a woman asks a man how much women he's been with, and he says 1, she's automatically not interested.
Well, I don't foresee that happening. I haven't talked to
them. Go ahead and ask him. Go ask him. A woman do not want a virgin.
I don't even know a guy that's only had one person, to be honest.
No, but I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying is I'm proving the point that women want men with experience.
I do want to.
So if a guy was to say, I've only been with one woman my entire life, she's gonna say, nah, I'm not. I don't want that.
I don't care.
What if that one woman was a freak? She could have taught him some shit.
Don't matter. You can only get one woman. She probably gave you the pom pom because she was sorry for you.
That's a good point. Okay, I see where you're coming from. Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So she needs to know that you're able to get more than one woman. She needs to know that you listen. You know how many women will tell me, "Oh, my dream guy is this, or my dream guy is that, or only if he met me." Now, granted, I know they're just speaking in semantics. I get that, but I'm like, you can't deal with a Michael B. Jordan or a Michael Ealy or Idris Elba or whatever you're talking about. Yet you can't deal with your dude that gets women around the block. These dudes get women all over the world. So when women talk about these types of things, do the opposite. If a woman got with a man and he only got with one woman, she's gonna look at you like you're not experienced, and women don't really look at you like that. When a woman sees a man, she's expecting for other women, because that's really the validation. It's not really you. It's if she knows other women want you, then she's more interested.
You got all the answers there. Hey, hang tight real quick, and I'm gonna read your super chats there. We were just talking in the back chat. Mr. Devoto 125. I don't know why women be lying. If the man doesn't pay for the date, there's a 99% chance that he won't get a second date. Did I read this one already?
Yes.
Maybe it might be this one. Baby on Lacey $5, Bo. Why do good women want and wait for toxic men and not seek good men?
Facts.
Lacey, $5 says, Naomi, toxic men do not expect women to wait. They expect them to not have any standards, which means they will wait. Javota, $50. Foreign currency, men spin the block. 4-6. Don't flatter yourselves. Big Ant, $10 says, funny how females always truth to tell a man not to speak on a woman experience, but you constantly got your mouth running telling me about mine. We up, JR Inc. Advanced perception, $5 says masculinity is a lot. The
Mandalorian. Ha! I love
Mandalorian.
that. What's that? Who's
In
that?
their culture, no one can see your true face. Their helmet represent the masked men.
That's dope.
Real world. Kevin Cook, $5 says, AJI, my side piece just cooked turkey wings, field peas, cornbread, and yellow rice. What y'all eating? Big Bam 44, 499, Angela 34, and me 35. Hink, you got your boy. Salute to the panel. Enjoy the show. Well, you got a fan there. Miss Angie. You can add $2 says, Angela, put some smiles on your damn face. Mr. Javoto with the $50 foreign currency. Men like to be around happy women. Just smile. Big Bam 44, 199. I was wrong. Big dog. Hink, my bad. He's taking it back. Mr. Javoto with the $50 currency. Smile leads. Smile, ladies. It's a cheat code. Get picked. Big at 11, $10 says, Cookie, the last time you and your sister were on here and the way you act, go back and watch it, and it will tell you why men don't approach.
Man, I was drunk.
Home of the official White Purge, $5. If a woman is that concerned with who else I'm screwing, she needs to make sure that she's the only woman that I fall asleep and wake up next to. Prophecy to Savior. Also a member, $5. I'm not gonna lie, but if I omit the truth, it's okay, right? Right, guys. Laughing my ass off. What the hell? And lastly, prophecy to Savior again. Also a member, $5 out here dodging accountability like Neo was dodging bullets in the Matrix. Want to thank everybody that's contributed to the platform. Do me a favor, hit that like button, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel on your way out. I think maybe doing another live tonight. So just look out for that. Anyhow, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday.